y'all doing? It's a brother Bolo V and Narra. We're in this space again. Woo, it's Saturday. Connect to this box here. Saturday. How you guys doing this wonderful Saturday? Please remember to hit the like button coming through the door. Thank you very much. Let's explore this Narra bill a little bit. Hey, big shout out to big shout out to Colin Bell, you know. Yeah man, real talk. Big shout out to Colin Bell. Man was on fire.
Blessed is the man that walketh not to the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the seat of, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. Sorry. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for this Saturday morning. We have early this morning. In fact, we wanted to come on before time because this morning is such a critical morning.
Serious morning.
And such a big morning.
Yeah, man.
So we come to you this morning from the
like and share the live, guys. Let's
Portland
go.
Spice TV, the original studio of Portland Spice TV. And we thank all our subscribers, all our followers, all the Portland Spice ambassadors. We want to thank you this morning. You know, Pastor called me the other day and Pastor said, Colin, me I watch you from you have 3 subscribers and 3 viewers. And 5 and 7 and 10 and 100. I remember one time this clown, what's her name? She was a PNP now turned Labourite, was telling Obi that Obi attacked to a platform where only have 7 viewers.
Yeah, man, me I go through it, man. Me I go through it.
Stick and staying with us.
Me I go through it.
And seeing us past 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, man. We have passed the 10,000 mark. And we thank you all. And we give thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ. And we see.
Hey, a long time, I don't know if people might deal with Colin Bell Show, so. Like, they don't want to subscribe. You know, long me I tell them, say, oh, no, if you see this a show, yeah. I don't subscribe. A joke thing, bro. Come like some haters, them, some bag of haters and I watch you, man, and I want to subscribe. Them, man, if you have 100,000 subs, brother, real thing.
YouTube said, well, congratulations on all these things.
Yeah, man.
It's about the work. As I have said many times, I want to say good morning to the producer.
Like up the live, guys. Hold on there.
With us this morning.
It look like we don't forget to like up the live, you know, guys. What go on? Yeah, how really go on? I don't understand. It's not look good. It's not look good enough. Nobody no like up the live yet. Mighty God. What is happening? Celine, how are them now? Accept your likes. You guys having a problem liking up the live? Hold on there. Like button now work on my end. What is going on? Let's continue still.
Morning. But I know she's with us in spirit and in truth, and she's watching as well. Morning, producer. Morning, France. Morning, Mr. Thomas. The entire team over there, you know, holding down things until we return. Hallelujah. That is our job. This is the work given to us by the Lord Jesus Christ. I will continue to pray to him and ask the Lord Jesus Christ to use me, use this channel. Yeah, if you carry your message, use me as your loudspeaker. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart
be acceptable
in your sight, Lord Jesus Christ. You are my strength, Lord, and my Redeemer. When the wicked come down upon us to eat up our flesh, they all stumble and fall down and broke all them neck.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
but
man.
Jesus is my protector.
Yes, man.
He's my guide. Yeah, the Lord Jesus Christ is my shepherd. Colin Bell shall not want. And the Lord Jesus Christ maketh me to lie down in green pastures.
Yes.
He leadeth me beside the still waters. The Lord Jesus Christ restored my soul. He leadeth me through the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
Yes.
Yea, though Colin Bell walk through the valley of the shadows of death,
I will fear
Colin
no evil.
Anthony Shakopee and Bell will fear no evil.
For thou art with
Lord
me.
Jesus Christ is with me.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
The Lord Jesus Christ prepares a table. Yeah?
In the presence of my enemies.
The Lord Jesus Christ anointed Colin Bell head with oil. Colin Shakopee and Bell head cup runneth over. Surely
goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
And we, the listeners and followers and subscribers of Portland Spice TV, will dwell in the house of the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever.
Forever.
Yes, who God bless?
No man curse.
Who God bless?
No man curse.
Who God bless?
No man curse.
Things get better when they thought
it would get worse.
Here comes the Babylon asking for a search.
Mighty God.
Then I find a weapon. Near me, I draw hers. Near me. So, welcome everybody this morning.
Colin Bell come with the full armor I got this morning.
Continue to pray for us. Continue to talk about the channel. Continue to invite people to come for the information.
Oh, you mean? We're now
at 9:30, we're going to be talking to Senator Cleveland Tomlinson.
Yes.
At 10 o'clock, we'll be joined by Ralston, the Professor Iman. I never reach out to Obi, but I want to talk to Obi somewhere about 11:15. Don't listen. No, the world is in trouble and living ain't easy. The USA debt is spiraling out of control. And Jamaica, giggling aside, those of you who are on the box of Angela Brownberg, hop off.
Hop off.
Hop off our fender.
Yes. Tell
them. Never go far enough.
Tell them.
The lifting of the mace in the parliament is fair game.
What do you mean?
It is not something despicable.
No.
It is a form of protest.
Yes.
And for those of you clowns and baboons who don't know, use up Google. Ask Google what are the form of protests available to parliamentarians in the houses of parliament in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, me idiot them.
We have this.
You tell them, man, me say, you see, the Jamaica Labour Party, them are some house slave, you know. I tell them all the while, you know. I don't believe me, you know. I say them is a prime house slave, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
Mace representing our former slave masters, those who have enslaved our foreparents. Time come.
Time
to
come.
Get that mace out of the parliament.
What do you mean?
If you
Lift
want a symbol, put a symbol representing our people.
Yes.
Something like the coat of arms or something else representing the people of Jamaica. Put the flag in there. Design the flag in a way and put it in there. Since you want a symbol. Those you worshippers of symbols. Now, before I get to 9:30, I have some things I want to lay out.
Please, at this we come about, you know.
And you all hear about the constitutional case with the Dry Harbour Mountain.
Yes, yes.
And if you're following that case,
yes,
that is a primary example.
Yes.
Why Narra, the way it is,
cannot stand. No.
And Prime Minister, you see, you have so much clown to follow you. And then his daily says she support the bill, but she don't support why not the bill. We're not going like on an idiot.
Yeah, them not no sense, man. Don't.
We support fast-tracking development at this time. And we support even an organization to get the work done.
Right.
But the bill must be structured properly.
Of course.
And call the family and friends, call everybody, call the labor rights them, because I want to teach them this morning.
Teach.
Because I want to show you why the bill in its present form cannot and should not go through.
Should not.
And I am going to start with a member of the government.
Listen to this.
Pointing out why the bill not supposed to go through the way it is. And then I'm going to follow up by an opposition member. And then I'm going to follow up by the ruling of the court.
Yes.
On the Dry Harbour Mountain. Because one of the major problems in this Narra issue is Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Yes.
And the PNP in Parliament, they did not go far enough Because somebody should have said to the Prime Minister, you are a part of the problem. Your statutory filings have not been certified for over 4 years.
I agree with Colin Bell. With all of the things that was said by the PMP, that's one of the things that should have been at the top of the list. Sir, you are not certified. Merville, how you doing? Blessings, blessings. Merville, why nobody now hit the like button? Don't forget to hit the like button today. What is going on? I don't understand. Come on now, gentle people. 25 people watching, I should have 25 likes. Don't let it be that me there, so after you stop the show for encouraging you to hit the like button, man. Come on, man. It's right there at the top of the screen somewhere up here, so on your phone. Right? Please always remember to hit the like button, guys. And help me with the live goal, the super chat live goal. Right? Share the live with at least 10 people so we can fill up the room. Sharing the live is a way to support the platform as well. Alright? And I want to say big shout out to Kwame Brown Boss Life, you know, man. I was on the brothers live this morning. Was talking about world events, you know, what is actually going on with coming from somebody that lives in the States. His perspective, he travels, you know. He used to be in the NBA. He's got a very sharp mind in terms of his perspectives and how we look at things. And it's always good listening to the brother. He brings real value to this space, and I appreciate him a lot. He was saying to me that he watches me sometimes, and I'm like, he doesn't say anything in the comments because he doesn't want to take away from the dialogue. But I encouraged him that, man, listen, it's always good to see him. It's an encouragement. It cannot be a distraction. You understand? No joke about that. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
The trust deficit. And let's go to the first clip right now. Listen to this.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to exert it there from the start. Call them, Let me see how much people they fire. Well,
call them.
Call the labor right them.
Yes.
Because we have beat all of them this morning.
My
call
God.
Them there.
Wow.
Down nationwide. The GLP mouthpiece.
Yes. Hey, let me tell you something. I have heard some arguments from the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm like, you would think that Dr. Angela Brownberg robbed the Treasury. You would think that she blocked children from getting a proper education because of her corruption. All the things that they're saying about the Mace, you would think that she literally took food out of people's mouth. And the people that are literally taking food out of people's mouth through corruption. Kimon, how you doing? Like the allegations surrounding Donovan Williams from one of their own, Rosie Hamilton. You would think that the Jamaica Labour Party would have that level of disgust and disdain for the allegations around Donovan Williams. We still don't know who owned the company that bought the drill. Thank you so much, Merville. Kimon, big up yourself. Right? And it's not just him. There's so many of them. Bobby Montague, Robert Bobby Montague, we still don't get the cars. But Donna Whittaker, bless up. Let's listen.
You set up traitors.
Traitor them
you are traitors to Jamaica.
Yes.
And when this...
What them call them? What you call them? The media, they are not patriots. They are traitors to this country. Facts.
Clown went to the press conference, asked Mark Golden about his statutory filing. You should have bite your big tongue, boy.
Yes. You remember that brother there? We have questioned Mark Golden in the PMP press conference surrounding what was happening in the West, asking him why his statutory declarations was delayed and it don't come out. Idiot want to Andrew Holness to stand up for 4 years. Why aren't you guys asking him about that every time when you see him and interview him? Why would you not question him every day when you go up on Ocean Wide? Huh? But you want to question Mark Golden that his statutory declaration is delayed from last year. He had to come out. Clown, man. Clown.
Because you're not calling on Prime Minister and Holness for a statutory filing and
That's
subject
right.
to be presented to the country.
That's right.
You are all set of traitors.
Traitors.
Malcolm X said any man who supports a government and that government continues to control 2/3 majority of the government and fail to carry out on their promise, and you continue to support that government, you are not just an invalid, you're a traitor to your country.
Facts.
Those of you don't GLP mouthpiece,
Oceanwide.
you are all traitors.
Traitors them.
Those of you on social media supporting rubbish, you are all traitors. Let's start with the first clip from the government side. Listen to this.
Bill, Madam Speaker, should not be as controversial as it is made out to be. I really don't think so. However, I have an appreciation as to why this is the case. Madam Speaker, we exist, unfortunately, and I think there's enough responsibility to go around in a low trust society where many see actions of our political leaders and governments as sinister, and where some, recognizing the sentiments of a wider population who is cynical, see this as an opportunity to exploit for political advantage. And this is very unfortunate because it does very little to address the issues. What you get instead, Madam Speaker, and this is my own interpretation, not casting any judgment on anyone, is that the arguments that have emanated from this debate up to this point are stimulated by emotive objectives rather than logical, practical, and contextual attempts at finding solutions to a crisis that affect the people that we represent. And I honestly do think that those who allow perfection to be the enemy of good are hurting the over 500,000 Jamaicans in the 5 critical parishes that have been impacted by this hurricane, Category 5.
Hear this idiot.
While we here debate, prolong, and engage in emotive insinuations. Again, the consequence of a low trust society. And I do believe...
He's out. He's out. A low trust society.
Created by them.
But then, in behave like there is no
reason
for that low trust.
Yes, not Colin.
A low trust society develops when you have a prime minister who is statutory filing cannot be certified.
That's right.
Institution put in place by the government, a creature of the parliament, cannot certify the prime minister.
That's right.
And the prime minister, you think is the CEO, is the single man in this? It is the prime minister.
That's right.
Because the CEO answers to the prime minister answers to nobody.
Nobody.
The prime minister wants to be God in this billion.
Yes.
And I'm going to show you now why the low trust exists, Christopherton.
Big facts.
And why the Speaker of the House got upset
with Angela Brownbird. Yes.
And spoke to her like a dog.
Yes.
Listen this.
Not a soul no care them there.
Yes. Guys,
Why the low trust?
sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The internet just decided that it would stop work. I don't know what is going on. Obviously, it's not my current, but thank God I always have Wi-Fi. Thank God I always have Wi-Fi. Let me just make a call because you see, I don't want my service figure done, you know. Let me see what time the service I done today. Don't want my service figure done, ladies and gentlemen. Go and play this.
Exists Christopher. And why?
Hi, Kenisha.
The Speaker of
Sorry
the
about
House
that, guys. Yeah, man.
got upset at Angela Brownberg and spoke to her like a dog. Listen this.
Not a soul know where the car them there. The same government.
Hold on.
Makes this even that much harder to vote yes is that it's being railroaded through Parliament by a government who had no problem in 2017, agreeing to 427 million Jamaican dollars and paying out 50% of that as a deposit for used cars for our police officers without any accountability. Even now, not a soul know where the car them there. The same government with the ministers spending money on the big birthday cake. Who remember the Nutri-Bolo scandal? Who remember that? Producing less, costing more, with no real accountability for distribution. Anybody here remember CMU and how taxpayers' money was being spent in 2019? The truth is that the same issues in all of those, that was the used car scandal we're talking about. The same issues, serious procurement breaches, contract bidding, rules being breached, payments to connected persons as contractors. And it was the same issue with Petrojam, with Nesal. Who remember Western Hospitality Institute? Yeah? That many thought was a eat a food prosperity.
Mighty God, hear that?
So when all these things are on my mind, it makes me very uneasy.
Yes.
Yes? I also want to remind us that in most of the cases I cited, what the Auditor General's recommendation was.
Yes.
It was about adherence to public procurement laws and the transparency of the process.
Yes.
But I guess now we don't have to worry about those because they're not even in there. Yeah? So you can ignore the transparency and you can ignore procurement laws. I believe that we do need, because the government has come here several times talking about the issues with procurement. And I have no difficulty if we believe that there needs to be changes, yes, around public procurement at this time. Then let's do it. Let's say that. Let's begin to see that at work in this bill that is before us. Yeah?
So, this is what I am talking about. When Angela Brownberg laid all that on the table, it basically concurs with what Christopher says. A low trust environment.
Right.
But Christopher, people are insinuating, people are talking the facts.
Straight
Everything
up.
that Angela Brownberg spoke a while ago are facts.
No insinuation.
Things that took place that all of us are aware of.
So Christopher Tufton want to say, oh, it's not facts. Rubbish. All of it is facts. Because them love you style and certain words to push the argument, you know. Them know if you toe the line, you know. You understand? Sorry. Take out them stuff, yeah.
So how you want to invest so much power? And she went on further.
Yes.
She went further.
Listen to this.
Under part 2 of the bill plus
Hold on. She went further.
UHWI market. UHWI,
Market me. Yes.
Cornwall Regional,
Yes.
CMU, WHI,
I eat money, me now.
Petrojam,
I eat money.
the purchase of used school buses, the lack.
Jamaica, me not tell a lie. Me never did get to listen to her speech. Now we see why. They were itching to kick her out of the parliament. It had nothing to do with the mace, it was personal. She brought up things that connect the Prime Minister, his wife, to certain business activity, to show the reason why well-thinking Jamaicans would not trust them having that certain type of autonomy and power in Narra as leadership. You understand? Because if Andrew have power, his wife have power. Pillow talk. Not true. And the two of them there in a construction. And Narra has to do with what? Rebuilding. We not trust them. You understand? And you must decide for yourself whether you trust them or not.
Used school buses, the lack of transparency, the questions around oversight.
Yes.
Yes, loom large. They loom large. And then I look on the part 2 of the bill, clause 7, and I see that the minister may appoint a committee to examine and report to the minister on any matter arising out of or connected with any of the authorities' powers. But that is me.
Mm-hmm.
Me. First of all, I believe that Narra needs a proper oversight committee, where that appointment is not made, but shall, in terms of these kinds of reports and overview. There should also be a mandatory reporting cycle to Parliament, as the opposition leader and others have signaled and suggested. So, Madam Speaker, as I take my seat, I want to say that all of what I have placed on the table does not leave me with a level of trust that would have me voting for this Narra legislation in its current form without specific clauses in the legislation to ensure greater transparency and accountability. Because at the end of the day, it's my children and grandchildren. It is going to be the people of Southwestern Andrew, in fact, all Jamaicans, who are going to bear the burden of repaying this debt.
Peace out, Lady Angela. So, we're still on this low trust environment, and that is why it must be written in the bill that there will be transparency. The CEO will come to the Parliament at least twice for the year, and every parliamentarian must get a chance to ask questions. You can't hide him. Whatever the Prime Minister is doing must come in writing. I want to play one more clip from Angela, and then I'm going to play the evidence why Prime Minister Andrew Holness does not have
our
the confidence of the Jamaican people.
Tell them
to
about
be the sole authority on this bill.
Mm-hmm.
For approvals or other inputs is at large. That the authority is at large. One, to establish timelines for inspections, evaluations, and assessments, as well in 21.2 to set deadlines for decisions for approvals or other inputs made or submitted by the authority. The truth is that I get a sense of a very high-handed approach in how this is worded.
Yes.
And I reiterate that recovery and resilience projects are going to require fast tracking. We understand that. No question about that. But I am sure these approving entities are all on board. And therefore, there must be some way After all, these are the same entities who are going to have responsibility for post-approval monitoring. Yeah? But Narra is designed to run roughshod over their opinion.
Yes. Can overturn them opinion, yeah?
And so that's
one man.
But then again, I'm thinking that this is the same government with connected persons involved in one way or another with construction.
Yeah.
Some even being flagged for breaches.
Andrew Holness and Juliet Holness, she are talking. Yes. Listen to that again. And that's why they kick her out of Parliament.
And
that
so
bond them.
But then again, I'm thinking that this is the same government with connected persons involved in one way or another with construction. Some even being flagged for building breaches.
That causes a problem.
Yes. And therefore I am thinking that the Narra legislation should also include a provision to resolve the objections by agencies. Otherwise, what's the message
you're sending
to everyone with an application before those same
nobody let me slap on you.
He's out, Sister Angela. The Narra bill gives the Prime Minister the authority to overrule government agencies and local authority.
Yes.
So the parish council gets a plan for a Narra project.
Listen to the scenario.
And they don't want to pass it or they don't pass it. The Prime Minister can pass it.
Exactly.
As if it is the parish council that pass it. NEPA gets a plan and NEPA said, no, this is going to damage the environment. The Prime Minister can pass it. Well, before I go to Marshy, the Prime Minister has done that before.
Yes.
The Prime Minister has done that before.
True.
NEPA, Forestry, said the Dry Harbor project should not be passed. Andrew Holness passed it. I'm going to play what the court says.
Listen to this.
I'm going to RGR.
Listen to this.
Beyond the headlines.
I'm not telling a lie. This morning, the first time I hear this. Lord of Jamaica, when you hear what this says and you put it into perspective, what Andrew Holness' decision was in this situation, the man is a traitor to the people of Jamaica. And his decision could have facilitated the death of Jamaicans in some capacity. Listen to this. Just want to make sure so you get proper perspective before you listen to this. Listen to this.
With this lady,
listen to this.
Miller.
Couldn't believe.
She was reading from the ruling of the judges.
Yes.
Open the line. Listen this.
Additional reactions to the Constitution.
Guys, please, 70 of you watching. Everybody hit the like button. Look at the top of the screen. All you have to do is double tap the screen and the middle, you know. Right on my hand is right here, so. All you have to do is double tap the screen like this now with your finger 2 times, you know, on your phone, you know. That's what you do to hit the like button, you know. Just double tap the screen right in the middle where you see my finger here, so. Double tap the screen. And everybody, you will be able to hit the like button. And then we can just ease off and forget about the like button. But all you have to do is double tap right here, so in the middle of the screen. We need at least 50 likes before we move on, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man. Wanna come, man. Let's go, man. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Just double tap the screen like TikTok. Tap your finger 2 times. Thank you. Let's go. We need 50 likes. We know say at least 50% here so that support the platform. 20 of them might are new and then they probably don't know or probably support the JLP or whatever. But you can't tell me say I be a labor writer watch me right now. And them something. No. So 50. We need 50 likes before we move on with the reasoning. 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We're at 24, 25. If everybody hit the like button one time, we reach 70, we reach 50 likes, you know. They don't take that long, you know. It only take 3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, so in the middle of the screen, you see me on there, double tap the screen with a finger like this. 2 taps. Boop, 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 boop. That's it. And you hit the like button. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. And there's another way you can do it too. Right at the top here, so. Up here, so somewhere. There's a thumbs up symbol like this. You click it and you will see the like, the dislike, the share button, all of that stuff. If you want to dislike it, you can dislike it too. But do something, man. Do something. Let's go. I need 20 more likes, ladies, and 19 more likes. Double tap the middle of the screen. 19 more likes before we move on. It's sad that I have to do this. Right? Too somebody unlike the video. 2 person unlike the video. What is? So we need 21 more likes. All right, so we need 18 more likes. Let's go. Double tap the middle of the screen, guys. Right on my hand there. Just double tap the middle of the screen. 18 more likes. 18 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. 18 more likes. We have to do better with the likes, them. This is ridiculous. 18 more likes. Double tap the screen, my people. You can't accept this no more. No, sir. Up on the live, I may have 200 people and only 20 people hit the like button. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Let's go, man. 16 more likes. 16 more likes before we move on, guys. Let's go. 16 more likes. 15 more likes. Right in the middle of the screen right there. Double tap the screen. 15 more likes. It don't take 3 seconds, guys. Double tap the screen right in the middle like this. One finger. Just one finger. 16 more likes. It's like the likes them go down. 14 more likes. Let's go. We can do it. We can do it. And then when you don't like the video, share the video with 10 people. You know what I mean? 12 more likes. Come on, guys. Let's go. We are going on a like drive right now. I need at least 50 likes before I continue. Yo, let's get it. How long have I been on? I've been on for what? 40 minutes? That's crazy. 40 minutes or so, maybe an hour. Come on, 12 more likes, guys. Just double tap the middle of the screen. Once you do it one time, you don't have to do it again, you know. So for the other persons that did not hit the like button, please, I need 12 more of you to hit the like button. Just double tap the middle of the screen right there. So we can get to 50 likes. 11 more likes and then we're good. Let's go. 11 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. It's easy. Right at the middle of the screen, you see my hand is where I'm, yeah? Just double tap the screen 2 times. Just like that. 2 times. 2 times. Done. Once you do that, you're going to see the highlighted thumbs up symbol is going to be highlighted and full. So double tap the middle of the screen right here. Where you see my hands, ladies and gentlemen. 10 more likes, guys. Come on. 10 more people hit the like button and then we can move on. 10 more people hit the like button and then 8 more people hit the like button and then we move on. Let's go. This is how important the likes is. It's not me, a TikTok, a YouTube. If you don't like the video, you send YouTube the wrong message, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't want to send YouTube the wrong message. You understand? You're telling YouTube that you do not value the video and nobody else will get to hear this information and this reasoning. And I think that is very selfish. So, 6 more people hit the like button. 44 will hit the like button so far. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. Let's go. 6 more people, ladies and gentlemen. 6 more people hit the like button. Alright? 6 more people. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 5 more people hit the like button and then we can continue and move on with the show. 5 more people hit the like button. I can't believe this is taking so long. Wow. Man. Yo, this is interesting. Yo, is it like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, man, I hope I don't have to do this again. That's all I'm saying. 5 more people hit the like button. Let me see if we can weed out the detractors from the page right now. Because clearly there's some haters over here. Let us see if we can weed out the detractors. I need 5 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, the way I'm feeling right now, I rather speak to the 45 people that hit the like button than to speak to the rest of people that don't want to hit the like button. Honestly, because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? We talk facts over here, we talk real events over here about our country. Alright? So 4 more people hit the like button. I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm not speaking from a selfish perspective. I'm speaking on behalf of all vulnerable persons here in Jamaica that is not protected by the state because of what the state is doing and not doing. So we need 4 more likes. Just where you see my hand right here on your screen, double tap it twice. Like baba. 4 more likes. Let's go. Just like that. 4 more likes. Double tap the screen. 4 more likes. I'm not moving on until I see 4 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man. Right, the same thing. The 3 more likes. 3 more likes. This shouldn't have taken what? 5 minutes to do? No, it shouldn't have. 2 more likes. 2 more likes, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. This is untenable. 1 more like. 1 more like so we can move on. Let's go. Double tap the screen. 1 more like, ladies and gentlemen. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen with your finger. Double tap the screen. 1 more like. We're almost there. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. 1 more like. Thank you. Wow. Wow.
Constitution.
From the ruling of the judges. Open the line. Listen this.
Additional reactions to the Constitutional Court's ruling for the Bengal mining lease. And it's a 94-page judgment. It's a very, very thorough judgment. And the court, during the judgment, points to the regulatory authority, that's the Natural Resources
Commission, listen, this good enough,
having refused the application for the permit. The authority expressly stated that the proposed development should not be approved and identified likely harm to natural resources and public health. They made reference to what they call the trenchant objection from the Forestry Department, identifying irreplaceable loss of dry limestone forests, failure of post-quarry reforestation efforts at other sites, and the importance of the forest, including oxygen production, water filtration, and so on. And then they go down, they say a little later on, and I want to read this because this is really important. They speak about the minister's treatment of the environmental evidence, and of course, this is the minister of what was then economic growth and job creation, now economic growth and infrastructure development, which is the prime minister. It said, and it speaks of his treatment of the environmental evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging. They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forests despite any post-quarry rehabilitation efforts.
Wow.
The NRCA is a body charged by law with environmental protection. Its assessments carry substantial weight. The court said it is not saying that the minister has to agree with the NRCA, but once he chose to disagree, there had to be a clear evidence-based reason justification for doing so.
Wow.
There has to be something explaining why the authority's conclusion was wrong, overstated, or sufficiently answered. There is no such reasoning before the court. And the court said the minister hearing the appeal remained bound by the Constitution. And let me bring in at this point, we still have with us Wendy Lee.
All right. So I hear that.
Jamaica, me now move past what she just said a while ago. TikTok big up on yourself, you don't know what to do. 50,000 likes at the aim. Like and share. I wasn't even gonna go live on TikTok. But from what they are doing, I treat me good, me can't let you know. You understand what I deal with? Yeah man, you know work with me so. You know what I mean? Trust me. Me have to join the TikTok family. Now, I want you to listen to carefully. This is the Bengal contract, right? Deemed unconstitutional by the Constitutional Court.
Will be exposed. That's all. And
1 second, guys. This is the Bengal contract that was deemed unconstitutional by the Constitutional Court, right? And we're gonna go through all the reasons why Bengal did not get the contract. Me play it before, but I'm gonna play it now, and we're gonna look into some of the concerns them that they had. You understand? You need one something. You need just text me, yeah. Yeah, man, just text me. So we're gonna go through again what she said, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go through again what she said. Saying very, very carefully. Let's go.
I'm going to play what the court says. I'm going to RGR beyond the headlines.
Yes.
With this lady.
Yes.
Diane Jackson Miller.
Yes.
She was reading from the ruling of the judges.
Yes.
Open the line. Listen this.
Listen to this, Jamaica.
Additional reactions to the Constitutional Court's ruling for the Bengal mining lease. And it's a 94-page judgment.
94 pages.
Very, very thorough judgment.
Wow.
And the court...
Jamaica, a 94-page judgment, you know. 94 page. Let's continue.
Judgment points to the regulatory authority, that's the Natural Resources
Now listen, this good enough.
is having refused the application for the permit. The authority expressly stated that the proposed development should not be approved and identified likely harm to natural resources and public health. They made reference to what they call the trenchant objection from the Forestry Department, identifying irreplaceable loss of dry limestone forests, failure of post-quarry reforestation efforts at other sites, and the importance of the forest, including oxygen production, water filtration, and so on. And then
Jamaica, the importance of the forest for oxygen production and water filtering. Mighty God, why would you mess with something like that as the Prime Minister? Listen to this.
And public health. They made reference to what they call the trenchant objection from the Forestry Department, identifying irreplaceable loss of dry limestone forests, failure of post-quarry reforestation efforts at other sites, and the importance of the forest, including oxygen production, water filtration, and so on. And then they go down, they say a little later on, and I want to read this because this is really important. They speak about the minister's treatment of the environmental evidence, and of course, this is the minister of what was then economic growth and job creation, now economic growth and infrastructure development, which is the Prime Minister. It said, and it speaks of his treatment of the environmental evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging. They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forest despite any post-quarry rehabilitation efforts.
Jamaica, what that means is mining there, whatever they move, it's impossible to restore it to the environment. The damage, clean air, clean water, damage. Who does that affect? The citizens.
NRCA is a body charged by law with environmental protection. Its assessments carry substantial weight. The court said it is not saying that the minister has to agree with the NRCA, but once he chose to disagree, there had to be a clear evidence-based reason justification for doing so. There has to be something explaining why the authority's conclusion was wrong, overstated, or sufficiently answered. There is no such reasoning before the court. And the court said the minister hearing the appeal remained bound by the Constitution. And let me bring in at this point, we still have with us Wendy Lee.
All right. So now hear that. The judge said the Prime Minister never care about when NEPA Forest
Never
said
business.
it passed the bill. Well, the court fling it away. It shows why we are in a low trust environment.
Yep.
And we don't trust Prime Minister Andrew
Don't trust him.
Michael Radam Brogad Holness.
That's right. That's right.
Marshy morning.
Morning.
Been saying EPAC had no legal.
Bell, is that there is absolute.
Tell us about your concern about Jamrock, because the government is saying that Jamrock will provide oversight just as EPAC did when we were coming out of the economic meltdown back in 2013.
Yeah, Jamrock, the government has rebuffed concerns that there is not sufficient oversight for Narra and points to the establishment of an advisory board, Jamrock.
Yeah.
The challenge with Jamrock, Comrade Bell, is that there is absolutely no reference to Jamrock in law.
Yeah.
Jamrock is not recognized in law. It has no statutory powers. It has no legal basis on which it can operate. It's really just a performative oversight. It's really just a performative committee. The minister, under whose control Narra will fall, doesn't have to engage with Jamrock. The CEO doesn't have to engage with Jamrock.
Answer this.
Hey, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. That's like a regular citizen putting on an imitation police uniform, going on the street and stopping vehicles, and I write them ticket and I assess them. They are not authorized to do so. They don't have the powers, and even if what they're looking, even if they know the law and they are correct in their assessment about what is going on with the actual vehicle and the person driving it, they don't have the legal authority to convict them or seize their vehicle or anything like that. So even if Jamrock is right, the PM or the minister in the Narra bill don't have to listen to them. They are not in law. They are not in lawful authority, ladies and gentlemen. That is the difference. What he's explaining. Let's continue. Like and share the video.
Answer this question. There is nowhere in the bill that Jamrock is referred to.
There is nowhere in the bill that refers to Jamrock. Jamrock has no legal existence in the bill.
But
Narra.
Like they have been saying, EPAC had no legal existence either.
Right. Let's drill down and look at the difference between EPAC and Jamrock. And I was at pains to outline this to my Senate colleague Shereen Golden Campbell and all angles last Wednesday. We're operating in two different contexts. When the government of the day at the time, that was our last PMP administration, supported and worked with private sector, civil society, and non-partisan entities to establish EPAC, the Economic Program Oversight Committee. That committee was really established to ensure that government operates consistent with the respective debt and fiscal targets that were agreed to in the IMF program that we underwent at the time. It was not about providing accountability with respect to how projects are managed or how billions of dollars will be spent. It's really about ensuring, EPAC was really about ensuring that the government maintains a particular fiscal surplus, a particular primary surplus, was to ensure that government was not spending too much than it was collecting in revenues, and that the different institutional changes that were required to be made were ticked. That's a different sort of oversight. That's a different kind of watchdog in a sense than what would be needed for an entity that has extreme powers, vast powers that can overturn the independent opinion of statutory regulators, an entity that will manage billions of dollars in resources, an entity that invests significant powers in the CEO and in the minister. You need a different kind of oversight committee. You need an oversight committee that is recognized in law, that has the authority to summon the CEO, that has the authority to provide that sort of institutional check.
But the Prime Minister said that's what they are running from, that extra bureaucratic red tape, somebody who you have to answer to and explain every move to.
That's a recipe for corruption. That's a recipe for abuse of public resources. I work in the private sector, Colin Bell. I don't know if you can credibly make the argument that a company in the private sector is inefficient because it has a board. It is just inherent in a corporate governance structure that you must have a board of you must have a board of directors that provides a sort of check and balance on the powers of the chief executive officer. If you look in the bill, significant powers are given to the CEO. In fact, there is no dual signing requirement, meaning there's no co-signatory requirement. What that means is that the CEO's signature alone can move billions of dollars, can
so what is wrong with that if you want?
State.
What is wrong with that if you want to fast track development and reconstruction of Black River to rebuild after the hurricane? What is wrong with that?
Yeah, the risk is just too great. The risk for abuse, the risk for implications coming out of poor judgment is simply too great for us to accept it in the name of efficiency. Yes, we want efficiency, but at the same time, we want proper and accountable usage of the money. I worry if money we're talking about, Comrade Bell, it's not a little drop of money we're talking about, and irrespective of the quantum of money, it is just par the course. But in any governance structure, you need a board that provides a sort of check and balance on the CEO so that the man not operate wrong.
But the Prime Minister, Minister have authority over the CEO. Does the opposition have a problem with the Prime Minister having the kind of authority that this bill will give him?
It compounds the very same problem that we're talking about with respect to the absence of a board, because the bill gives significant operational powers to the minister. Generally, Comrade Bell, you know that how the governance framework works with the political directorate is that ministers generally operate at the policy level. They set the policy framework, and at the ministries, departments, and agencies level is the operations and the execution. Generally, the minister is not involved in the operations. That is not what is going to happen with Narra. In fact, the bill says that the minister can direct the entity to make any kind of decision in a sense.
Wow.
Can disregard anything, can accept anything. That essentially means that the Prime Minister or the Minister, it will be the Prime Minister who has control of Narra, the Minister can involve himself in the operations of Narra. So the CEO might be of a particular perspective about what is to be done. The Minister can tell him, no, don't do that. I instruct you to do X, which might not be.
Is that the problem the opposition is having, that the Prime Minister basically going to run Narra?
It's one of the challenges that we have. He might not be on the ground with the day-to-day because the CEO will be there, but at any time, he has the authority to instruct the CEO to act in a particular regard. That's a major problem. The Prime Minister should not be, the Minister should not be involved in the operations of Narra in that regard. One of the more concerning powers that has been given to Narra is that the Minister has stepping powers.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean by that? It means that Narra can bring, let's say Narra wants to execute a project. You know, generally to engage in a development, you need NEPA to give an approval that it's safe and sound and it will not have negative implications for the environment. You need a local authority, let's say the KCMC, to provide approval to ensure that building plans and permits are consistent with the code required by law. Narra can bring those entities together, let's say KCMC and NEPA, and Narra can instruct them on how to treat with the applications. So Narra can say, listen, I needed to give me back this in 1 day. I needed to give him back this in 2 days, 3 days. Maybe that is not perhaps the more concerning part because you do want efficiency in the execution of the projects. But here's the difficult part that we cannot accept. If NEPA and KCMC provides an opinion that is adverse to what Narra wants, and that is not in favor of Narra, Narra can write to the minister and say, listen, NEPA and KCMC have ruled in a way that is not in our favor. And the minister, if satisfied,
the Prime Minister, Senator, so the Prime Minister. Hold on, Senator, you see on this platform we are very simple people. So we simplify things. We don't want it complicated. Just make it known that it is the Prime Minister. Andrew Michael Holness we're talking about. Continue.
Yeah, the Prime Minister will have control of Narra. The Prime Minister can intervene, set aside the independent judgment and opinion, the statutory independent, I would say, authority. The Prime Minister can overturn that and issue a new order, and it will have the effect as though it was issued by NEPA or KCMC. That is
hold on a little further. The NEPA have technical people in environment. So when NEPA pass a bill in our project, it would have met the technical assessment of the technicians at NEPA.
Right. Precisely so.
So does the municipal corporation, like KCMC.
Right.
They have technical people, they have the engineers.
Yes.
The Prime Minister can overrule all of that. And pass the project.
Wow.
Which he has done before, Senator.
We had a very timely ruling.
Timely.
Hold on, don't say a word.
Don't say a word, Mr. Tomlinson. Don't say a word.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica has overruled NEPA and forestry.
Yes.
And I want to play from RGR, Dean Jackson.
Play it again.
Read a part of the judge's ruling. And I want you all to listen to this.
Additional reactions to the Constitutional Court's ruling for the Bengal mining lease. And it's a 94-page judgment. It's a very, very thorough judgment. And the court, during the judgment, points to the regulatory authority, that's the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, is having
come through my side, 50K likes, let's go.
For the permit. The authority expressly stated that the proposed development should not be approved and identified likely harm to natural resources and public health. They made reference to what they call the trenchant objection from the Forestry Department, identifying irreplaceable loss of dry limestone forests, failure of post-quarry reforestation efforts at other sites, and the importance of the forest, including oxygen production, water filtration, and so on. And then they go down, they say a little later on, and I want to read this because this is very important. They speak about the minister's treatment of the environmental evidence, and of course, this is the minister of what was then economic growth and job creation, now economic growth and infrastructure development, which is the Prime Minister.
Yes.
It said, and it speaks of his treatment of the environmental evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging. They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forest despite any cost.
Hold on there, Jamaica. Let me look and see what is hydrology. See? Now I do a split screen. Hydrology. Let me look for Google. Because this serious. You see.
Forest rehabilitation efforts. The NRCA is a body charged by law with environmental protection. Its assessments carry substantial weight. The court said...
All right, so for your understanding, ladies and gentlemen, right, and myself, hydrology is the scientific study of the movement, distribution, and quality of water across the earth, including water cycle, groundwater, atmospheric water. Its focuses on how water interacts with the environment, covering properties like evaporation, precipitation, stream flow to manage water sources. So this is one of the things that NEPA was concerned about, right? The distribution, the quality of water that would be disturbed by the mining by the company Bengal. And Andrew Holness ignored, ladies and gentlemen, these very serious concerns by NEPA and did not give a scientific reason to counter the scientific argument of NEPA why he gave them a permit. Thus, this is why the court struck down the deal. But the point is, this man cannot be trusted, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot trust him. When it comes out to something like the environment that affect labor right, PMP and non-P at all, this man was willing, with all those telltale warning signs by the experts. The man that was willing, the man pulled the trigger, ladies and gentlemen, pun intended. The man pulled the trigger on jeopardizing the water sources, the water quality, and water distribution and movement. So now this could have facilitated drought in some capacity. How can you trust a man like this to operate Narra, where building permits and all of these things are concerned, can overthrow any one of these entities? Yo, you better wake up, you know? You better wake up and realize the man where we are dealing with in the office. Let's continue.
It speaks of his treatment of the environmental evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging.
Yes.
They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health.
Biodiversity, air quality, public health.
Scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging. They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forest despite any post-quarry rehabilitation.
Jamaica, air quality. That is directly messing with God. Air quality. If you don't have proper air quality, I don't business what you're talking about. You could have eat good till you're weak. If you don't have proper air quality, you're done. What kind of man is this we have as a prime minister? Let's continue. Remember, I go back again, because I'm not really pass. I say, this too important. They say learning, repetition is synonymous with learning. So we are going to go over it again for you to understand how significant of a move it was for Andrew Holness to overturn this particular, and how it ties into what is going. He said God is exposing this man, man. God is exposing him, Look how God made this thing happen right after the blouse and skirt Narra bill pass. Look upon God and working, ladies and gentlemen. What a thing. Listen to this again.
But biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forest despite any...
The impossibility of restoring the lost forest. Jeez and P. Jamaica, that means when them do a mine with them mine, There's a dead, Dead of water and all the animals. Do you know that there's animals there, ladies and gentlemen? Animals as well. That are endangered species that is in the area. All of this was in the NEPA bill, in the NEPA report. Why they didn't give them the permit. And Andrew Holness still ignored all of those environmental concerns. This man cannot be trusted to craft a bill like NEPA and ultimately run the show. He cannot be trusted. I mean, we argue with any intellectual one cannot be trusted. Because intellectual don't mean say you have common sense in some capacity. In certain cases, because context matters. Big up Isaac Buchanan. Yes? I know I'm kind of term there. Let's continue.
To development, which is the Prime Minister. It said, and it speaks of his treatment of the environmental evidence. It says the concerns before him were considerable and wide-ranging. They covered biodiversity, hydrology, air quality, public health, scenic value, and the impossibility of restoring the lost forest despite any post-forest rehabilitation efforts. The NRCA is a body charged by law with environmental protection. Its assessments carry substantial weight. The court said it is not saying that the minister has to agree with the NRCA, but once he chose to disagree, there had to be a clear evidence-based reason justification for doing so. There has to be something explaining why the authority's conclusion was wrong, overstated, or sufficiently answered. There is no such reasoning before the court. And the court said the minister hearing the appeal remained bound by the Constitution. And let me bring in at this point, we still have with us Wendy.
All right. So, Senator, what do you have to say about that now?
That ruling was God sent. It was timely. Yeah. What it means is that it reveals to
What's
the
up, Dana?
the risk associated with stepping powers being granted to a minister.
Bingo.
Because let's be very clear. What happened with the Bengal NEPA situation could very well be an occurrence in the Narra.
Of course.
So let's be very clear.
And isn't it evidence that the Prime Minister don't need reasons and technical support to make a decision? Even in this case, the technical support was there and him just discarded.
Yes.
Yeah, the Prime
don't
Minister
respect
has a
it.
contempt for the Constitution.
Yes.
And you don't.
Hey, Cleveland Tomlinson, bro, man, listen, bro. Hey, listen. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna cap. These young PMP members, I don't mind meeting them in real life. But just on what the principles that they're standing on, I would be proud to associate myself with these individuals. The man is 100% right, you know. Oh my God, let's listen to that again. Let's listen to how you frame that again. My
the
God.
situation could very well be an occurrence in the Narra situation. So let's be very clear.
And isn't it evidence that the Prime Minister don't need reasons and technical support to make a decision? Even in this case, the technical support was there and him just discarded.
Yeah, the Prime Minister has a contempt for the Constitution now. And you don't. Yeah, I believe, in my estimation, from what I see, if you look at the treatment of certain legislations in the Parliament, or he runs them through the Parliament without due consideration to the valid points being made by the opposition, the number of constitutional cases that they have lost, you know, and had they listened to the opposition and civil society, they would not have found themselves in that position. From that, one can only reasonably conclude that the Prime Minister has a contempt for the Constitution and doesn't feel as if he must be bound by anything. I find that to be very dangerous, particularly in the context that Narra will fall under his authority. I am not comfortable with that.
Listeners and viewers, subscribers, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Senator Cleveland Tomlinson. We're talking about the Narra bill. It is now before the Senate. The government has tabled it in the Senate. The opposition has not made any contribution thus far. So we're looking at maybe next week, Friday. But we're still talking about issues relating to how this bill will be governed and what governs the bill. It's not that we are against fast-tracking recovery, but how do we do it? Cleveland, what portion of weight the fact that the Prime Minister's statutory filing over the last 4 years cannot be certified. What kind of weight we put on that?
Well, the Prime Minister still, operates under a cloud of corruption. The inability of the Integrity Commission to certify statutory declarations from way back as well, 2021, I believe.
Yes.
Reveals he has substantial concerns.
Brother, yo, Jamaica, let me tell you something, man. You see, that youth here preach gospel right now. You hear me, I tell you? I have to rewind that. That brethren here preach gospel right now. Talk up the things, them, General.
Well, the Prime Minister
Lorna, what's up?
Operates under a cloud of corruption. The inability of the Integrity Commission to certify statutory declarations from way back as well, 2021, I believe.
Yes.
Reveals to us that the IC has substantial concerns about how he has conducted his financial affairs.
Mm-hmm.
And we can recall the Integrity Commission reports that were released that brought the Prime Minister to make a statement
Best, big up.
denying, denouncing, and questioning the validity of the report. The matter is in the courts now, so we await that outcome. But the reality is that, the Integrity Commission was not satisfied that the Prime Minister conducted his personal financial affairs in a way that would be consistent with what is required of a
Yes.
and hence they launched an investigation, made some conclusions, and a lot of things. So the reality is that this cloud that hovers the Prime Minister is still there.
Yes.
As long as his statutory declarations remain uncertified,
yes.
he operates under a cloud of corruption.
Yes.
Should that be mentioned in this debate, knowing that the Prime Minister will have awesome powers and he's asking us to trust him?
Yes.
Even after, listen what Chris Tufton said in his presentation.
Speaker should not be as controversial as it is made out to be. I really don't think so. However, I have an appreciation as to why this is the case. Madam Speaker, we exist, unfortunately, and I think there's enough responsibility to go around in a low trust society where many see actions of our political.
That's Christopher Tufton. He says we exist in a low trust society. Is that true?
Yes, we do, and he's very correct, and he has contributed to that.
Exactly.
Yes. And he, when he says there's a lot of blame to go around, I hope that in that he's accepting his culpability.
Oh, my general.
Environment.
Hey,
when we look at
no, you see that youth, You see that youth, Jamaica. All right, so we have 100 people watching, and we have 66 likes. I'm now gonna stop the live for force to hit the like button. I am going to encourage you guys to hit the like button, because you see what the like button, hitting the like button did? Hitting the like button attracted 50 more people on the live. So please, if you appreciate this platform, if you appreciate the dialogue, if you appreciate the conversation that we're having, yes, the like button is right at the top of your screen if you're watching your phone right now. If you're on your computer, the like button is easy to find. It's the same place it always is. But if you're watching from your phone, right at the top here, yes, you see the like button. All right. For the persons on TikTok, we're at 13,000 likes. The aim is 50. Can we get to 50? Can we get to 25,000? We need 12,000 more right now. Pauline, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Let's continue. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go back a little bit.
Trust society.
Yes.
Where many see actions of our political.
That's Christopher Tufton. He says we exist in a low trust society. Is that true?
It's true.
Yes, we do, and he's very correct, and he has contributed to that low trust environment.
Hold on.
Yes, When he says there's a lot of blame to go around,
Yes.
I hope that in that he's
Yes.
accepting his culpability and
Yes.
he starts to play in that
Ah,
low-trust
the
environment.
general.
Because when we look at Cornwall Regional Hospital,
Yes.
that ought to be the mother of scandals
Yes.
in the Western region.
Mm.
And grandmother.
And grandmother too,
If not
true.
great grandmother too.
And
Because
stuff that's the father.
yeah, man, remember Cornwall Regional was first, the reconstruction efforts began in the first term of the administration, the first term, 2016.
Whoa.
And now they are in the third term, and the project is nowhere near completed. And what was originally designed to be a $5 billion rehabilitation project has magically ballooned to over 20 billion. In fact, the last estimate that was provided by, I think it was the Gleaner, was in the region of $24 billion. Consistent delays, lack of accountability. That is disgraceful. So, what has happened with Cornwall Region and the billions that we have allocated over the years has contributed to the low trust environment. So he should take some responsibility there.
Should the opposition explain to the nation and indeed in the parliament that this low trust is a result of the Prime Minister, people like Christophe John, Angela Brownberg did point to some of the issues that caused that low trust environment. But should the opposition speak directly to the Prime Minister on his issue with this statutory filing and trusting the Prime Minister with this awesome power that Narra will give him?
Yeah, the Prime Minister really just has to accept that he's asking of the people to invest in him and his government significant confidence regarding the vast powers that he wants to be given to Narra, which will fall under his control. Then, when he accepts that, he must also accept that the issues surrounding him and his statutory declarations with the Integrity Commission and the many questionable acts that have come out in various Auditor General's report and Integrity Commission's report regarding the conduct of his ministers and ministries, departments, and agencies under his government's oversight would lend themselves to people just simply not being confident to give them that much power.
Facts.
The Prime Minister really just has to accept that this is just a liability.
Yes.
But in these bills, should somebody remind him of this?
Of course, Dr. Brownberg, I think, started the conversation in that regard. They're very good when she was, reminding the Jamaican people of the many acts that were, questionable acts, things that were not consistent with good governance and accountability that, have emerged under Holness government. We'll continue that part in the Senate. I'm refining my presentation, and the people can look forward to that being a part of my presentation, because we have to remind those in the Senate as well that you have not operated and conducted yourselves in a way that would be consistent with someone legitimately coming now to ask the people for this much confidence regarding this degree of power that you want in Narra.
As a parliamentary and senator, I couldn't allow you to come here this morning and I don't ask you about our chairman, my chairman, your chairman, Dr. Angela Brownberg, lifting the mace in parliament. What are your thoughts?
I said to Dion on Wednesday that I can be sympathetic to the motivation that drove our chairman to engage with the mace. I understand that following several attempts to be recognized by the speaker to make an intervention in the parliament on that day, the member was frustrated, and understandably so, because there has been a clear partisan vulgarity with which the speaker has been managing the proceedings of the House. Many acts that are inconsistent with the impartiality that should be a cornerstone of the office of the speaker. One, she shuts off the microphone of the leader of the opposition on many occasions. I recall in the first parliament around last year, we had to do a walkout, in parliament because she did that to the leader of the opposition. She has refused to, acknowledge our members when they want to rise on a point of order to make an intervention in the debate. And she has really been very partisan in her behavior, very spiteful, in fact, very vulgar. I think it's very distasteful and very unhappy that she's in the speaker's chair. The opposition did not support her assuming that role in the second following the election in 2025. And she really ought to reflect on how she is tainting the office of the speaker for her own partisan agenda. And it's very disgraceful. I'm very disappointed in her. Because I'll be honest, when she first became speaker, following the disgraceful exit of the former speaker, Marisa Dalrymple Philibert, you remember the Integrity Commission case that led to her being set aside. When people said, that the Prime Minister's wife should not be speaker, I was a bit more sympathetic to her becoming speaker, because I was saying to myself, she is a member of parliament in her own right and should be viewed as an MP in her own right before being viewed as a wife of the Prime Minister. But I had to recalibrate that view. And, recall, the opposition had, no objection. In fact, the opposition had supported the nomination the first time.
Philip Powell second the nomination.
Right, because the opposition was operating with the same degree of understanding that I just expressed. She's a member of parliament in her own right, etc. And we expected that she would operate above the partisan fray. So
Jamaica, this is important, because a lot of people here online, some people are knock the People's National Party for making Juliet Holness the Speaker of the House, not understanding or not listening, because a lot of people don't listen, and some of them, it's not that they don't listen, it's really that they don't want to listen, because they really don't like either party. So they come on the platforms with a facade, acting as if they don't like the JLP alone and what they're doing, but they like to tie in the PMP into certain things. And sometimes the criticism is unfair. And let me tell you why. You have to know how Parliament operates and how they've been operating traditionally to understand why they gave the nod to the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. Right? Yes. So I would say it is unfair criticism, because they could not foresee that this lady would be this monster, Jezebel, that she is. They could not foresee it. It's only until she went into the space as a Speaker of the House, then they came and said, no, we have seen the fruits of this labor, and we object to she being the Speaker of the House. And what did the majority of the House do? Ignore the callings of the People's National Party. That's exactly what they did. They do not care how we the people feel about how the Speaker of the House is operating. And when the People's National Party go into power, I'm telling you, they have a lot of legislation that they have to pass. Oh my God. We cannot afford for democracy to be derailed in this manner with another Speaker of the House like Juliet Holness. There has to be something in law where once it's identified and shown considerably and proven that the individual is acting bipartisan, Joan, how are you doing, Joan? And it's not being fair, we can get them out of there. Yes, man. And it doesn't need a large vote to do it. So the Speaker of the House needs to have the confidence of at least 1/3 of the People's National Party. All right, not say the People's National, they need to have at least 1/3 of the however amount of persons is a part of the opposition. They need to have at least 1/3 of their confidence. And they have to have reasonable evidence to show through the standing order and how things are to be run that this person is simply operating. I mean, listen, Juliet Holness told on herself, Let me play the tape. Juliet Holness told on herself, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this up. 1 hour and 1 minute. Let me find it. Let me find the tape. She told on herself. Yeah, she did. Sure did. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah, this is the one.
Believe it or not, I will draw the person you will marry. One of my clients asked for a refund. She thought the man I sketched.
Mr. Space.
But timely
There.
have used
Hello, Brownberg. I name.
Hold on, I'm soon find it. Soon find it, Jamaica. Yeah, see that?
Yo.
See that?
Outside. 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 Marshall.
Listen to this.
Cover her. Was there panic? No. It was handled calmly.
Yes.
So what changed? Is it the action? Or is it the person? Because yesterday,
yes,
the reaction wasn't just firm.
No.
It was immediate.
Yes.
Forceful.
Yes.
Absolute, not calm management of the house. This was personal.
Personal.
Angela Brownberg didn't wake up and decide, hey, today I'm going to move the mace. I feel like I want to touch the mace. She tried to speak on a number of occasions in this very sitting. And when you suppress people's rights long enough,
yes,
they will find a way to
rebel.
Heard.
Yes.
Now understand this. Yesterday was not just any debate. This was a bill that gives the Prime Minister and the Cabinet extraordinary power. Power to decide which projects move forward and which don't, which road gets fixed and which community gets left behind. No independent.
Let's get to 20,000 likes, guys. What do I deal with? No, man, 25,000 likes. Sorry. We need to get at least halfway there in the next 5 minutes. Let's go. Double tap up the screen, TikTok.
Board, no meaningful oversight.
There, Val. Big up. Ninja Blade.
CEO and then can override that CEO anytime and on any matter. And then there's indemnity, which means no prosecution, no accountability, no consequences, no prison time.
Yes.
Untouchable. So when the opposition tried to challenge this, there was no room for interruption, no room for dissent. The space for debate was tightly controlled by a heavy-handed and partisan chair. And frustration boiled over. Now that the meltdown is over, the mace is secured, let's ask something more important. Is the voice of the people being heard? Is Parliament allowing real debate? Or is control being masked for order? Because yesterday it felt like the mace was being protected, the relics of our colonial past was being protected, but the voices were not.
Yes.
The mace is fine.
As a mother.
The real question is our democracy fine?
What an argument. Mighty God. But hold on, another department you want here. You want here the part. See it, yeah? Listen to this.
Collective and increasingly getting comfortable sidelining opposition voices. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this.
I've learned it is important to be fair. It's difficult as a speaker because I make every effort to maintain that balance.
Yes.
However, it still has to be appreciated that to become speaker, I ran on a party ticket, and to remain speaker, to remain an MP, I will have to run on a party ticket again. So you have to sort of balance that.
No.
So Juliet Holness told on herself. She told her that she cannot do her job properly because her interest, her main focus is to make sure that she win the next election, whenever that is, so she can maintain her seat. Yes, that's what she's saying. So Speaker of the House comes second, and the rules of the Speaker of the House comes second. Being non-partisan comes second. Being not biased comes second. Candy Flames, what's up? That's what she told us. She exposed her own self, ladies and gentlemen. Now let me go to a video that a lot of you did not watch on my platform. I don't know why. I don't know why you guys did not listen to the speech of Mark Golden.
No,
I can't do it that way there. PBC. I have to go on PBC, unfortunately. Oh, you know what? Let me try this. Facebook, yes. Facebook, I've clipped my clip. So we can touch on some of the things. Because I think persons kind of overlooked the precedents that Mark Golding set, you know. Mark Golding destroyed the Narra bill clause by clause, you know, and then they came to try and brush it off to say that it's politics. That's what the Jamaica Labour Party did, you know. And when name, what's his name? Christopher Tufton headed the list of persons that attempted to brush aside the many concern of all the clauses in the Narra bill by Mr. Mark Jefferson, Sir Mark Jefferson Golding. Whoa, I thought they had it here. They didn't? Oh, what a violation this? You want to violate differently, is it? You want to violate the man differently. On the Facebook page. I were on the Facebook page. Oh, I don't see no clips of Mark Golding speech for the Narra bill over there. No man. That not right. I'm gonna see none pan I don't see any over here so as well. Wow. Okay.
In Jamaica, madam, they retain the jury. Be an inter.
Let's see if I hear so. No same time Mark Golding do film speech.
On this side of you must admit.
Turn the other person and make
Last week in the film one.
Annually. Subject only to the approval.
Okay. No worries.
Its interest in the
Found it. Found it, Jamaica. Found it. Let's go. Got him.
exactly.
Get off on the top of the speed. And I remind you to watch the mechanism and calculation. Dr. Wayman. And then
the things here, Mr. Golding, when I got talk now.
Well,
yeah, man, come on, man. Right, that's now. One mark.
By the Prime Minister. The original bill was tabled during his budget debate presentation that was withdrawn last week, Tuesday. A new bill was tabled, and he opened the debate last week, Tuesday, on the new bill. Madam Speaker, the opposition recognizes the need for special efforts to contribute to the reconstruction of Jamaica, especially after the terrible damage inflicted on our country by Hurricane Melissa. We are painfully aware that Jamaicans continue to suffer from inadequate shelter, damaged housing. Small businesses and other businesses have had similar losses to their businesses and their working capital, their stock. And we are distressed that more has not been done to bring some kind of help and support to those who need it. We are aware that the Roots program has been ruled out, funded out of the budget of 25-26, the $10 billion allocation. However, it is inadequate both in its scope, because it does not reach and will not reach many who need that help, and in its depth, because those who do get help will get inadequate support from the limits that apply to it, and also the deficiencies in the administrative arrangements, which have made it very challenging for persons who have sought to access the benefits. But Narra is not about providing solutions to the present needs of those people who are suffering. Narra is really a revamped attempt to inject higher levels of growth into the economy of Jamaica. That is primarily what it is about. If you actually look at the bill, other than the preamble, which does not become a permanent part of the legislation, there is no reference in the bill to Melissa or to any hurricane. And if you look at its provisions, It is really about the government trying to find a way of achieving meaningful rates of economic growth after a decade of failure to do so. Jamaica has been categorized by low levels, very low levels of real economic growth over the past decade. And despite promises like 5 in 4, which were spectacular failures, where 5% real GDP growth was to be achieved after 4 years, nothing like that was achieved. We've had periods of negative economic growth because of shocks to the economy and so on, but there's been no structural shift in the design of our economy that would enable our economy to deliver high levels of growth. We're also mindful of the role that the bureaucracy plays in delaying projects and the frustrations that come with that. And Narra is an attempt to address that issue in a particular way. So I understand the underlying philosophy that has given rise to Narra and the desire to provide a legislative solution to the lethargic rates of economic growth that have been bedeviling Jamaica's economic development, and also the bureaucratic entanglements that the government has found it difficult to find ways to navigate through efficiently. However, given the role that Narra will play as the major construct for the allocation of substantial resources to public projects, and also as an adjunct to that, its role in facilitating private sector investments as well, especially given how broadly that is now being framed, because originally the projects that we had anticipated being included in these arrangements were projects of 150 million US and up. And when the bill came last week, the Prime Minister had changed his tune on that and reduced that by to a tenth of the original figure, to 15 million US, which means that a vast array of projects are going to be potentially eligible for inclusion under the Narra regime. And this
big up my side, you know. Charmaine Wagwan, me soon, you know. When I eat up the like button, you know, the rival cookie we are deal with. Everybody on the live on TikTok, everybody on YouTube, the word is love. Zine. No, I feel like we need to go through that speech again. And one of the things that where Mark Golding said that was very, very important. There's nothing in the Narra bill for the victims of Hurricane Melissa. It was never mentioned. And so what is the real intention of the bill? Janet, thank you. It appears as if the intention of the bill is to finally you know, take on you know, complete some projects that they failed to complete, that they promised, that they have been eyeing on. So them see the money for do things like build a new Parliament building. And Mr. Dr. Alfred Dawes said it's best in his speech. The man said, you guys want to build a new building and the people in Westmoreland and these places don't have a roof over their head, some of them. They don't care about the people, Jamaica. They don't care about the people. Them have their own selfish ambitions. Let's continue.
It's that the governance arrangements are absolutely critical. People of Jamaica and for investors and for our international partners to have confidence in this new construct called Narra. The governance arrangements, the transparency of its operations, the accountability of the persons who are reposed with responsibility for executing its functions, all of these are vital. And this is where the bill falls well and seriously short of what is required. The fact of the matter is that Narra is a statutory body without a statutory board. It is an aberration insofar as it is creating a legal entity with the powers that a legal entity have without the governance arrangements that are normal and necessary to ensure proper governance of the body itself. And I will speak to that in greater detail as I go through the bill. Madam Speaker, I propose to approach this today really as an almost clause by clause analysis, because I think that is the easiest way for me to get through the points that I want to raise. I notice in the definition clause, which is clause 2, the definition of public body excludes executive agencies, which means that the provisions in Narra that relate to approving entities and the powers that would apply under Narra in relation to approving entities will not apply to bodies such as NEPA or PICA, the National Land Agency, National Works Agency. I'm not sure why that decision was made, because those bodies, and there are many others, are significant, but that is the effect of the way in which approving entity has been defined and public body has been defined. When you look at those two definitions in tandem, the list of things that an approving entity is responsible for, which is in the definition there, said it includes functions related to a number of things: physical planning, roads, highways, etc. I raise the question because the word including is used and before the list of functions is set out. I wanted to know whether this would include other things that are not in this list, such as permits and licenses that may be needed by the designated strategic investment projects, which are the private sector projects, such as licenses to operate a casino or gaming facility, hotel or resort licenses, wharfish licenses, sufferance wharf licenses to establish private ports, petroleum facilities or energy facilities, and so on. These things, I'm not sure whether or not it's intended that the definition of approving entity would extend to those types of regulated functions, because the language used in the definition says that the list that's provided there is not a exhaustive list. It is just a list of things that happen to be included. And I think that's very important and needs to be clarified. In the definition of goods in section 2, clause 2 of the bill, it speaks to goods being things of every kind and description, whether tangible or intangible. That's a very peculiar definition, Madam Speaker. Intangibles are the antithesis of goods. And to say that goods extends to intangibles is very peculiar, and I think that needs to be reconsidered. I note that in section 4, there are lots of references to projects. And again, because the bill isn't consistent in its language, it isn't clear to me whether the projects referred to in section 4, which are the projects that the authority is responsible for dealing with, are limited to approved reconstruction and projects, which are so defined in section 17, or can Narra pursue other projects that are not on the Cabinet's official list of projects? I think that if there was consistency in the language, it would be clear whether Narra is limited to these approved projects that are on the section 17 Cabinet list, Cabinet approved list, and the private sector projects which are designated under another provision, or whether other projects may also be pursued by Narra. I think that needs to be made clear.
So, Jamaica, for the normal man, language in law needs definition. If it does not have the right definition and clear definition, it can be left up to interpretation. And if left up to interpretation and not clear, and it's ambiguous, meaning ambiguous just means boy, it can be anything at all. You make it up to be. We're not sure exactly what it means. So it's ambiguous. So if it's not clear and cogent, law has to be clear and cogent, ladies and gentlemen. So he's perusing the law every, what you say, Cookie? You know, listen to what I say a while ago. Listen to this part here. Listen to this part here.
The projects that the authority is responsible, that in Section 4.
Yes, Section 4.
There are lots of references to projects.
Yes.
And again, because the bill isn't consistent in its language, it isn't clear to me whether the projects referred to in Section 4, which are the projects that the authority is responsible for dealing with, are limited to approved reconstruction and resilience projects, which are so defined in Section 17, or can Narra pursue other projects that are not on the Cabinet's official list of projects? I think that if there was consistency in the language, it would be clear whether Narra is limited to these approved projects that are on the Section 17 Cabinet list, Cabinet approved list, and the private sector projects which are designated under another provision, or whether other projects may also be pursued by Narra. I think that needs to be made clear.
So what Mr. Golden has identified is a massive loophole in terms of what the bill defines as projects. It's a massive loophole. So is it just projects that are approved by the cabinet, or can the authority add a project? And potentially could lead to corruption, nepotism, cronyism, fattening of people's pockets. Them just enter a project that they deem that is suited to spend our money with, our trillions of dollars that we have to pay back and our children have to pay back. Coley, what the hell is Coley? So that part of the bill is very important for them to define what projects mean. All right, let's continue.
Madam Speaker, in the subsection 2 of clause 2, there is a provision that allows the minister by order to alter a definition of works. And that order is not subject to affirmative resolution. I think it is wrong that a minister can effectively alter a statute passed by Parliament through the House and the Senate without coming back to Parliament for approval of that amendment.
You hear that?
Subsection 2 of...
So the minister, Andrew Holness, can change the law, Jamaica, without any consultation. In Narra, you know, without any consultation. And remember, Narra have all these powers already. And this was before, he's going through the amendments of the law. David, big up. He's going through the amendments of the law. So if there's anything that has changed since they passed it to the Senate, when the Senate speakers come, we're going to hear what has changed and how much it has changed, and if it's effective change enough to quell the concerns. But based on what I've heard, those changes that they made were not significant. The bill is still pretty much how it was before. All right, but the detail of how much it was before and now, we will hear next week. All right, let's continue.
Of clause 2 ought to be subject to affirmative resolution. Madam Speaker, when you look at clause 3 of the bill, which is the one that establishes it as a statutory body to which Section 28 of the Interpretation Act applies, it's not an executive agency, it's a statutory body. It can sue, and if it's sued in its own name, it can own property and so on. That's what the Interpretation Act allows. There are no objects or purposes stated in the law, in this bill, in relation to what Narra is about. And if you look at Section 25, 1B2 of the Act, it says that the Cabinet may designate a project as a strategic investment project if the project contributes to the achievement of the purposes of this Act. But there's nowhere in the Act which clearly sets out what the purposes of the Act are.
Wow.
And I think there should be. If you look in the memorandum...
Wow. So that's another wow. That's another part of the bill that's not clear. So everything in the bill is left to give Andrew Holness the type of loophole where he can just operate with impunity. No clear definition. Let me play that again. This is important, you know. We have to go back to Mark Golding's speech, ladies and gentlemen, because he broke it down clause by clause. We have to go back to his speech.
Of the Act. It says that the Interpretation Act allows. There are no objects or purposes stated in the law, in this bill, in relation to what Narra is about. And if you look at Section 25, 1B, 2 of the Act, it says that the Cabinet may designate a project as a strategic investment project if the project contributes to the achievement of the purposes of this Act. But there's nowhere in the Act which clearly sets out what the purposes of the Act are.
How can you have an act this important and it doesn't set out clearly what the purposes of the act is? So you can just design a purpose of your own and create a purpose that suit your own agenda as the minister, as the prime minister. And we, the Jamaican people, must trust you that passed, that gave Bengal the authority illegally, as the court has said it's unconstitutional what he did, right? The prime minister, to give them the authority to mine in that area that's supposed to be protected under the Constitution and protect the people as well, the animals, the endangered species, protect the waterways. How can we trust this man, Jamaica? How did you, and then added to that, this man's statutory declaration cannot be certified by the Integrity Commission. And we must trust him to oversee this thing. Name Narra. Come on, man. Clause by clause. Mark Golding going through this raises even more concern.
And I think there should be. If you look in the memorandum on objects of A, B, C, and D of the memorandum on objects and reasons, some basic purposes for which this legislation is being passed. And I think that those ought to be incorporated without this specific references to a particular disaster. But those ought to be incorporated in the bill, perhaps in Section 3, so that Section 3 would not only just establish the authority, but would also set out the purposes and objects for which it is being established.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a
very
major,
important
omission from the bill. There's a reference in 3.2 to the schedule, which is, they say shall have effect as the...
1 second, guys. Too much ambiguity in this bill. Right? See, so ambiguous, for those that don't know the term, understand the term. Ambiguous means open to more than one interpretation and has an uncertain, double and unclear meaning. There is several ambiguities in the Narra bill, ladies and gentlemen. Several. There's several ambiguities in multiple ambiguities in multiple clauses. So if you go through it clause by clause, one clause will have multiple ambiguities about it. It cannot work. It cannot work. Can't work, as Mama Dr. Angela Brown Burke would say. It cannot work. We almost reached 50,000, man.
The constitutional procedure of the authority. And when you look at it,
I know you alone.
That's a normal way of...
Hold on there. Hey, Cookie, I know you alone supposed to hit the like button. If everybody hit the like button together, you know, it make the likes them go up faster, and then we can, we get to 50,000. and anybody want to go over that, and you understand, you know, that's fine, but yeah, the aim is 50,000 likes, guys. You know the thing. Seeing?
The schedule, which is, they say shall have effect as the constitution and procedure of the authority. And when you look at it, that's quite a normal way of our legislation dealing with.
And feel free to buy me a special, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? Feel free to buy me a special. Let's continue.
Statutory bodies, the schedule was set out, basically what would be the equivalent of the articles of a company as to how it should function procedurally. But all that is addressed in the schedule to this bill relates to the CEO of the authority, nothing else. So it really doesn't, the schedule does not have effect as to the constitution and procedure of the authority. It really only governs the CEO. And that is extraordinary. There's no provision, as I've said, for any board of the authority, for any audit committee, for an internal.
Hey, let me tell you something. You see, when a man of Mark Golding intellect says extraordinary, trust me, it's not just extraordinary. It's shocking. It's unbelievable. It's a disaster waiting to happen. That's what he's trying to express. All right, real talk.
Auditor, for any risk management functions, anything of that nature. And this is an entity that is going to be responsible for administering and managing the expenditure of billions and billions of US dollars worth, if we're to understand, both from the public sector side, but also to facilitate private sector investors as well to speed it up, expedited procedures. This cannot be right.
Yeah, man.
And when I spoke last week, I said this bill ought to go to a joint select committee.
Yes.
And it should.
Yes. Yes. Them no want to hear that. Them decide to them a pass it. Them no want to hear that in Jamaica. Them decide to them a pass the bill as is. Me tell you, say anybody that supported this bill, in my opinion, they are criminal. Anybody will support this bill, whether in the government, whether outside the government, I believe you are a criminal. That is my belief. And I'm entitled to my beliefs. Yes, let's continue.
That joint select committee to complete its deliberations within a finite period of time, perhaps a month, because of the urgency of this. It needs to have the benefit of interventions and contributions from stakeholders, from the wider society that have a strong interest in this.
Of course.
Madam Speaker, I noticed in clause 4, which sets out functions of the authority, it doesn't make any reference to designated strategic investment projects. Now, that's strange because the authority does have a role to play in relation to designated strategic investment projects, which are the private sector projects. But in the functions of the authority set out in clause 4, there's no reference to them. And that is odd. And there are numerous references, as I said earlier, to the word projects, but there's no definition of the word projects in the bill. There are references later on to these approved reconstruction resilience projects, and there's references to designated strategic investment projects, but they're in clause 4, they're just references to projects, and you don't know what the scope of that is.
Yes.
And it's not clear what is intended.
Ambiguous.
Madam Speaker, I know that there's no provision providing for any exemption for duties and GCT on materials imported by Narra for these projects. I don't normally, one would expect to see something of that nature in a body that's being established as a public body to undertake works of this nature. There's no provision for that.
Wait, say that again. Hold on in Jamaica.
And a bill of this importance I can't see why we're so hard and fast on time and the time of the leader of the opposition in particular.
Parliament erupted into chaos after Julie.
His own auditor annually.
As I've said, for any board of the authority, for any audit committee, for an internal auditor, for any risk management functions, anything of that nature. And this is an entity that's going to be responsible for administering and managing the benefit of interventions and contributions from stakeholders, from the wider society, that have a strong interest in this. Madam Speaker, I noticed in clause 4, which sets out functions of the authority, it doesn't make any reference to designated strategic investment projects. Now, that's strange because the authority does have a role to play in relation to designated strategic investment projects, which are the private sector projects. But in the functions of the authority set out in clause 4, there's no reference to that. And that is odd. And there are numerous references, as I said earlier, to the word projects, but there's no definition of the word projects in the bill. There are references later on to these approved reconstruction resilience projects, and there are references to designated strategic investment projects. But they're in clause 4, they're just references to projects, and you don't know what the scope of that is, and it's not clear what is intended. Madam Speaker, I know that there's no provision providing for any exemption for duties and GCT on materials imported by Narra for these projects. I don't normally...
You hear that? When you hear that, listen to that concern now.
Providing for any exemption for duties and GCT on materials imported by Narra to projects, and you don't know what the scope of that is, and it's not clear what is intended. Madam Speaker, I know that there's no provision providing for any exemption for duties and GCT on materials imported by Narra for these projects. I don't normally, one would expect to see something of that nature in a body that's being established as a public body to undertake works of this nature. There's no provision for that. It isn't even clear to me whether Narra...
I think that's a good point that he's asking about, given how much material would be used ultimately for a project like this, some type of, to get in as much material as possible and to ease the burden and cost on taxpayers where that is concerned, because ultimately we are the ones that have to pay back this actual bill. So to maximize the money itself, it would be prudent and wise what he's suggesting. I think that went over a lot of person's head, so I am repeating it and putting some light on it. Let's continue.
To implement projects as such. In the previous version of the bill, the first version, it specifically stated that Narra would implement projects, but in the bill that's before us now, it isn't that clear. It talks about that they shall procure goods, works, and services for the implementation of projects, programs, and plans, but it doesn't specifically say that Narra is the implementation agency for these projects and on the public sector side. And I think that needs to be added. We also need provisions that speak to, in the functions, speak to prudence, efficiency, and transparency in expending public resources. That should be there. There should be reference to those things. Value for money in procurement, that should be mentioned. Risk management functions, that should be mentioned. Fairness in the procurement and hiring practices, that's a particular matter of concern.
Yes. Yes. Say that again, my general. Say that again, make the person run a back here.
Efficiency and transparency in spending public resources. That should be there. There should be reference to those things.
Yes.
Value for money in procurement.
Yes.
That should be mentioned.
Yes.
Risk management functions. That should be mentioned. Fairness.
Fairness.
In the procurement and hiring practices.
Yes.
That's a particular matter of concern.
Yes.
To the opposition.
Yes.
We would like to see a principle embodied in the legislation of non-discrimination for political affiliation or other characteristics like religion, ethnicity, and so on.
Yes.
That is missing as well.
Right.
It needs to be in this because of the level of resources that will be expended by this.
Right.
Subsection 3 of Section 4 says that for the purpose of performing its functions under the Act, the authority may, subject to any regulations that may be made, do anything and enter into any transaction which, in the opinion of the authority, is necessary to ensure the performance of its functions. Anything. And that effectively means that the CEO can unilaterally decide the scope and boundaries of its activities. Because the CEO is the only required employee. There will be other employees, but the CEO is the only person who has real authority under this legislation within the construct of Narra itself.
Wow.
And it says that he, or she, can do anything and enter into any transaction which, in the opinion of the authority, which means his or her opinion,
yes,
is necessary to ensure the performance.
Can't work. Can't work, Jamaica. Hear that?
My to Clause 5, which deals with the appointment of the Chief Executive Officer. The law is not clear as to who the Chief Executive Officer reports to. There is a reporting section where the minister can require reports, but that's a different thing from a management perspective and a governance perspective. Who does the CEO report to?
Almighty
it's
God.
Not clear. How is the CEO's deliverables decided? What are the key performance indicators applicable to the authority and to the CEO's functions? Nothing at all.
My God. Madness.
It says that in Section 10 that Narra reports to the Prime Minister, but there's nothing about the CEO's reporting responsibility.
Wow.
And that is a big issue. Madam Speaker, Clause 6 of the bill says that the authority and the Chief Executive Officer, the CEO, can, with the minister's approval, delegate to any person the performance of such of their functions other than the power of delegation, as they may from time to time consider necessary. Now, this power of delegation is significant because any functions can be delegated. The question is, what transparency will arise in relation to delegated functions? Important functions could end up being delegated to third parties on terms which are not disclosed, as costs that we are not aware of.
What?
There should be a report on all delegated functions.
Hold on there, wait. Go back. Hold on there, Marky G. Where you say a while ago?
Other than the power of delegation, as they may from time to time consider necessary. Now, this power of delegation is significant.
Yes.
Because any functions can be delegated. The question is, what transparency will arise in relation to delegated functions? Important functions could end up being delegated to third parties on terms which are not disclosed, as costs that we are not aware of. There should be a report on all delegated functions by the CEO, and that report should be sent to Parliament on a timely basis. Transparency demands that.
What do you mean?
Clause 7 talks about the minister's ability to appoint committees to examine and report to the minister on any matter arising out of or connected with the authority's powers and duties. But there is no provision in the bill in relation to this committee that the Prime Minister spoke to, called JAMRA, which he says is the equivalent of EPAC. Now, EPAC have no responsibilities for oversight of any operating entity that is expending zillions of dollars. That is what Narra is going to be doing. A large number a large number. EPAC's responsibility was to get data from the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Jamaica on Jamaica's economic performance and report to the public on how Jamaica was faring in complying with its commitments under the IMF agreement. So it was a reporting function based on data that was made available to it as to whether Jamaica was on track. This is a totally different function. There's no comparison.
Now, for the people in the back, I have to play that again because, you know, Jamrock, EPAC, it's quite clear that the government and Holness has continued to do what they do, mimic what the PMP does, but in their own sinister way. And it's a bad mimic. It's not the same. And they're trying to sell it as such. That's why he named it Jamrock, to give you this essence of, oh, Jamrock, Jamaica, rock, like, you know, we can connect to it. They are very good at those things, but it's not connecting to accountability, ladies and gentlemen, and good governance and all of these wonderful things in terms of what we want, managing our money. Essentially, it's our money because we have. If Holness was taking the money out of his pocket to do it, we wouldn't care. But this is government business, so it's the people's business. Yes? Let's continue. So let me go back to what he said about the difference between EPAC and Jamrock. All right? Very important. So I want you guys to listen carefully. Thank you kindly.
Of EPAC. Now, EPAC had on any matter arising out of or connected with the authorities' powers and duties. But there is no provision in the bill in relation to this committee that the Prime Minister spoke to, called Jamrock.
When he says there's no provision in the bill, it means that EPAC, Jamrock was not written into the bill as law. It has no real authority. All right, let's continue.
The equivalent of EPAC. Now, EPAC had no responsibilities for oversight of any operating entity that is expending zillions of dollars. That is what Narra is going to be doing. A large number. A large number. EPAC's responsibility was to get data from the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Jamaica on Jamaica's economic performance and report to the public on how Jamaica was faring in complying with its commitments under the IMF agreement. So it was a reporting function based on data that was made available to it as to whether Jamaica was on track. This is a totally different function.
So EPAC simply reported to the Jamaican people as an accountability portal per se, to let them know that, listen, these are the facts, and yes, the government is doing what they are supposed to do under the agreement with IMF to get down our debt. This entity is taking expenditure and spending it. It's quite different, ladies and gentlemen. And they are choosing projects to spend it on. And they are the sole authority about which projects to accept, which projects to pass. They can overturn what the agencies put in place to protect us, like NEPA and other agencies. They can overturn those rulings and pretty much do what the hell they want to do. And Jamrock can't do a damn thing about it because it's not written into law. Jamrock could recommend. It's like me. You are a grown individual. And I say to you, you know, I would recommend that you stop riding on the bike without a helmet. You don't have to listen to me. It could result in your life being lost. But at the end of the day, it's nothing in law for me to say, if you don't wear your helmet, I am going to charge you. That's like you being on a construction site, right? And there's rules on a construction site that you have to have on safety gear. Well, in this case, Holness can ignore the rules of safety. That's the point. He has full autonomy and authority to ignore Jamrock. So it's no real oversight, ladies and gentlemen. It's not operating like EPOC. It's totally different. Totally different. Let's continue. Just want to know if you understand that, you know.
Was made available to give as to whether Jamaica was on track. This is a totally different function. There's no comparison. This is like a massive conglomerate being operated by a single officer,
yes,
a CEO with no board and no proper oversight.
That's right.
It's wrong.
Wrong.
This bill ought to establish a board along the lines that Jamrock is intended to follow, and that board should be the board to which the CEO reports. And there should be proper governance provisions in the schedule as to how that board operates, and clear lines of oversight and accountability. Jamrock has no legal powers and is not a legal construct. It cannot effectively provide oversight or ensure accountability within Narra. It has no legal authority and it doesn't exist in law.
Simple as that.
Suggest otherwise is very misleading.
Of course. Lying to the public. Lie at them.
To clause 8 of the bill, and it deals with the funding of the authority. And it says the funds of the authority shall consist of such monies as may from time to time be placed at its disposition for the purpose of this act by Parliament. I assume, and I'd like it to be clarified, that what that is saying then is that Narra's resources from public resources would have to come through an appropriation act. It would have to be included in the budget of the country or in a supplementary budget. And I was wondering about the various disaster risk financing arrangements that the government has put in place. There are two statutory funds. There's a disaster fund and a national disaster fund. There are the insurance arrangements with CRIF. There are the catastrophe bonds which have been entered into and so on. And I was wondering what is the mechanism by which those resources would be made available to Narra? Is it intended to be automatic that they are the ones who expend those resources, or will it be on an ad hoc basis? I think it would be useful to have a clearer understanding of that. I turn to clause 10, and it says that the authority shall furnish the minister with such reports, returns, accounts, and other information as the minister may require. Now, supposing the minister doesn't require any reporting, or doesn't require any formal reporting, written reports, this cannot be the reporting obligation to put it on this discretionary basis. The CEO should be required to prepare semi-annual reports, which the minister should table in Parliament, and the CEO should be required by law to attend Parliament twice a year, like the Bank of Jamaica's governor is now, under the Bank of Jamaica Act, to answer questions in relation to those reports. That's what transparency demands. The clause 11, which deals with reporting, speaks to annual and other reports shall be prepared by the authority. And it says a copy of the annual reports and all financial statements should be submitted within 4 months of the financial year to the minister, and then the minister shall within a reasonable time. Why a reasonable time? Why not a specific time? Why not within 45 days or 30 days?
Yes.
Cause those to be tabled in Parliament.
Beat and teach, Marky G. Play that again. Beat and teach.
And the CEO should be required by law to attend Parliament twice a year, like the Bank of Jamaica's governor is now, under the Bank of Jamaica Act, to answer questions in relation to those reports. That's what transparency demands. The clause 11, which deals with reporting, speaks to annual and other reports shall be prepared by the authority. And it says a copy of the annual report and all financial statements should be submitted within 4 months of the financial year to the minister, and then the minister shall within a reasonable time. Why a reasonable time? Why not a specific time? Why not within 45 days or 30 days? Cause those to be tabled in Parliament. There should be, as I said, semi-annual interim reports to update the nation on the progress through Parliament of the challenges being faced, how those challenges are being addressed. There's a complete absence of proper oversight for this body. Clause 12 speaks to the need to submit to the approval of the minister by the September 30th of each year a corporate plan, an operating plan, and its estimates of revenue and expenditure for the financial year. I assume it means the next financial year. I was wondering whether this is subject to the Ministry of Finance's role in finalizing budgets in the normal way that there's a budget call and the statutory bodies, ministries, etc., well, central government bodies submit their proposals for funding, and then the Ministry of Finance essentially scours all of that and the resources that are available and decides what is actually affordable. Is that process going to apply to Narra or not? It's not clear to me from the wording of Clause 12 whether that will happen. I move to Clause 13 of the bill, and it says the minister may give directions to the authority. We are accustomed to seeing laws which say that the minister can give directions as to general policy to a public body within the minister's portfolio. This is not like that. These are operating directions. The directions under subsection 1 shall be such as the minister appears desirable in the interest of effective performance by the authority of its functions, and to ensure, well, I'm not sure if it's and or because that's not stated, to ensure that approved reconstruction and resilience projects and designated strategic investment projects are implemented in accordance with the terms of Cabinet's approval and the public interest. So the minister has a direct, intrusive role in the operation of Narra.
Mighty God.
And, there's nothing to require directions to be in writing, to be gazetted, so that the public is aware of them. Again, all of these directions that the minister is giving in this body, this critical body, there should be transparency around those directions.
Of course.
There should be a report on all of semi-annually to Parliament on what directions have been given by the minister to this body, so that the public knows what is going on.
Man, they want to hide everything from our brother.
Yeah, I need some more.
Time has expired. Next speaker. You don't get extension. You don't get extension.
That woman here, see, man. You don't get yeah. Something as important as this bill. You have to me say the speaker, the opposition leader, you don't grant. Yo, me say the woman is such a nasty spirit, you know, man. Yo, man, yo. Jaja.
10 minutes. A process of turning on your mics before your knowledge means you will have to turn them off so that we can allow the leader of opposition the additional time. And I'm not sure who would have been in the lineup. Opposition leader? Leader, hold on. Let me ask House Leader to just move the motion to allow the extra time.
Turn off.
Madam Speaker, we ask that the leader of the opposition be given an additional 10 minutes to complete his presentation.
Members, the question is that the leader of the opposition in the debate be allowed an additional 10 minutes. Opposition leader, 10 to 15 minutes at most. Those in favor, those against, the ayes have it.
And Speaker, I don't think we should be parsimonious in allocating time to the leader of the opposition in his presentation on this bill.
Leader of opposition,
anyway,
with all due respect, all of us are.
You know no respect, man. Move from here, man. You know no respect, man. You know rate them, man. Because you know rate democracy. All you do is defend and Jonas and your party and your constituency. You know, business about the wider people in Jamaica. I pray God deal with you no fast. I tell you that. Can't stay there.
Required to follow the rules, including you.
No, there's a discretion in these matters.
Of course.
Discretion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
you should have some discretion. You only have discretion for the Jamaica Labour Party member them. You never have no discretion when mama touch the mace. After you ignore her and I ignore the People's National Party members them and I ignore them constituency essentially. Yes, the Speaker of the House operate like she have more power than the leader of the opposition in the House. You understand? She don't come to be a referee. She come to be a suppressor of the People's National Party. She don't come to be a referee between the two and make sure so the House runs smoothly. She come to oppress and stop the voices of the People's National Party. Anybody that opposes the Jamaica Labour Party and what they're doing, she's there to block them. Right? If you're there on a football field, you have 11 versus 11 and the referee on the two side them. Right? In this case, she are the referee in the middle and on the two side them. She a play a 3 role, Extreme Beauty, what's up? She a play a 3 role and a block the 11 people. So we are fighting against in the parliament to get our voices be heard. We are fighting against 14 individuals. 14 against 11. That is what is happening. You understand? I'm going to try to handicap the People's National Party and the people in Jamaica. Show Tada, man.
Madam Speaker, it also says that directions under subsection 1 may require the authority to take or refrain from taking certain actions or to refrain from adopting or pursuing a particular course of action. The minister is in a position to directly interfere in how this statutory body is performing its functions. It's the CEO is there, but the minister is the one who can really direct how it works. And that is not how we normally. And these directions are not required to be in any way disclosed. They're not even required to be in writing. But there should be proper transparency and disclosure around these directions by the minister.
Mighty God.
Madam Speaker, I was going to say some things in relation to clause 14, which deals with secrecy. I'm going to not use my time for that because I'm aware that one of my colleagues intends to speak on that issue. I move, and also the provisions on indemnification. I would only say that the way this is worked, the wording of the clause 15 on indemnification is that if the CEO or any other employee is charged,
listen to this,
for a criminal offense,
yes,
even if that person is convicted, they can be indemnified if it's deemed that they acted honestly and in good faith.
Wow.
Taxpayers have to pay the legal fees of that convicted criminal.
Wow.
That is bizarre, to say the least.
Wow. Let me play that again for you people in the back. Wow. Did you hear what the man said about indemnity, Jamaica? Did you hear what the leader of the opposition said about indemnity? The lawyer extraordinaire, the legislator extraordinaire, the business lawyer extraordinaire, the businessman. You heard what he said about indemnity clause and the secrecy part of the. Hey, I say, when you listen to this, man, let me tell you something. If you don't feel like say a joke business about this and Narra bill, when you make a sad mistake, when you better wake up, and rise up, Jamaica.
Around these directions by the minister.
Listen to this.
Madam Speaker, I was going to say some things in relation to clause 14, which deals with secrecy. I'm going to not use my time for that because I'm aware that one of my colleagues intends to speak on that issue. I move, and also the provisions on indemnification. I would only say that the way this is worked, the wording of the clause 15 on indemnification is that if the CEO or any other employee is charged for a criminal offense, even if that person is convicted, they can be indemnified if it's deemed that they acted honestly and in good faith.
Mighty
taxpayers have to pay the legal fees of that convicted criminal. That is bizarre, to say the least.
Go for what I go?
It's bizarre, to say the least.
Yeah, true. Go
Madam
off with
Speaker,
you.
Clause 17 talks about approved projects.
And that's
And it
why
says that the authority should
something go
develop
off a while
programs
ago.
and detailed plans, including project scope, delivery arrangements, and timelines. But why does that not make reference to budgets, project budgets, to funding arrangements, and to the contractors and professionals that are to be engaged in these projects? Why are those things not included in the programs and detailed plans?
You see the way how the indemnity clause is structured, it doesn't encourage the state to seek legal action. Let me say that. And this is why. The person now got prison anyway, and we have to pay their lawyer fee. Wow. Jamaica, you know what I just thought about? Look at the association of criminality and criminals the Jamaica Labour Party has associated themselves with as a party. Even their slogan. What if the individual and the CEO or other members that work in that space is a part of that criminal organization? Mighty God. That just come to me a while ago. No, man. This clause would facilitate, this entire bill would facilitate that type of operation, you know. And then they wouldn't be able to go to jail if they even commit any crime. Wow. Wow. I don't know if anybody on Bolo 2.0 is typing, but if you are, I'm not seeing it because the chat has frozen. Let me tell you. Let me come out and go back because it's kind of weird. I've been on for a little while now. So much people is here and nobody is typing. Wait, let me go out and come back. And see. So there you go. The chat was frozen. See, look how much people type. CJ, Georgie Stewart. Let me see who else is in the building. Novlet. Formosa. I didn't see Formosa. She must have vexed me. I wonder how me not acknowledge her. Colleen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm some unknown Libra. Mighty God. Look at all these people. OG Truth. Thank you so much. Coming through to support. Who else is over here? June, big up June. Big up Deborah. Interesting read about the Bengali company. Yes, it was. Petroy says, was Christopher Tufton casting aspirations on Andrew Holness when he was speaking about the Low Trust Society? How could he when he's a part of it? And a main reason for the Low Trust. Merville said Andrew is not a real person. He lost in image and of a man, and he could be anything. Hold on, let me see who else we see up here. So mighty God. Petroy, Jamaica, open on the eyes and see this. Bro sad for who he is. Antonio in the building. Wow. Amoy, how you doing on TikTok? Big up yourself. Petroy was very active in the chat here. So Narra is a Trojan horse for Andrew Holness to become king of Jamaica. Don't be fooled. Greetings, Bolo. Big up yourself for that comment. Let me see. Donna Whittaker in the building. Janet Monday. Big up yourself. Look how much people. That means there's a lot more comments that I missed for the last hour that I did not see. Carlene, big up yourself, Carlene. So I am so sorry to each and everyone that's watching on Bolo VNR 2.0 on YouTube. The chat froze on me, and if I missed your comment, I am so sorry. Please remember, guys, the likes are where we would want it to be. So now I am encouraging you guys to help me with the live goal on TikTok and on YouTube. The live goal is pinned, ladies and gentlemen. The live goal ends in 23 minutes and 38 seconds on YouTube. I can start another live goal, but you see the live goal. If you can facilitate that live goal in any way, shape, or form in supporting the platform, I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the weekend. Bless up the channel. Same thing for TikTok. Let me pin the live goal right here. So anybody can facilitate the live goal there. We appreciate you. If you can't, continue to like and share the video. Thank you so much. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen.
It's bizarre to say the least. The wording of the clause 15 on indemnification is that if the CEO or any other employee is charged for a criminal offense, even if that person is convicted, they can be indemnified if it's deemed that they acted honestly and in good faith. And the taxpayers have to pay the legal fees of that convicted criminal. That is bizarre, to say the least.
Bizarre.
It's bizarre, to say the least. Madam Speaker, Clause 17 talks about approved projects. And it says that the authority shall develop programs and detailed plans, including project scope, delivery arrangements, and timelines. But why does that not make reference to budgets, project budgets, to funding arrangements, and to the contractors and professionals that are to be engaged in these projects? Why are those things not included in the programs and detailed plans? That doesn't make sense to me. And it isn't clear as well exactly what Narra's role is in relation to the designated strategic investment projects, which are not referenced here at all. One thing that I noticed is that Clause 18 says that programs for reconstruction and resilience shall be developed by the authority, shall state the goods, works, and services necessary, and then it goes on to say, identify all relevant persons involved in and their respective roles in the delivery of the program. And that all has to be submitted to Cabinet. And I'm just saying that this disclosure of all relevant persons, from our point of view, it sounds like it's a mechanism for ensuring that persons who are affiliated or perceived as not being on the side of the government can be weeded out of any of these projects. And, you know, to my mind, it is just a carte blanche for political victimization. And that is why it's important that the functions clause has those principles of non-victimization embodied in it. Clause 19 deals with plans, but it speaks to that the authority must update plans periodically, and after any material change in a plan,
TikTok, give me a second.
There is the authority shall review and update plans periodically, and after any material change of which the authority has noticed and that is likely to affect adversely affect or delay the implementation be brought to the attention of the Cabinet. Because if there's an adverse effect in a major project that is cost related, it is vital that that information be shared promptly and should not be within the bosom of the authority when at the end of the day it's going to become something that the public purse will have to address. So I think that there should be something that deals with these material changes and the need to report them on a prompt basis through the minister to the Cabinet. Madam Speaker, since I have limited time and I have a lot more I'd like to say, but I'm not going to be permitted to do so, I just want to make a point here. There's a provision for directives that the Narra can give directives to these approving entities, which are local authorities and other bodies that deal with project approvals. And these directives are under a regime here. There's no transparency in relation to directives that are given. The directives don't have to be gazetted according to this. There's no report to Parliament on directives that have been given. So what you have is Narra effectively second-guessing the agencies of the state or the bodies that are normally responsible for the approval process, imposing their own views on what the approval should or shouldn't say, and there's no transparency around that. And that should be, to my mind, and I would like to see provisions that require these directives to be made public through the Parliament. There should be a reporting mechanism on them. And I think the absence of that is a dangerous thing to build into a law of this nature. And then, of course, there are the step-in arrangements, where if the authority issues a directive and the approving entity, the local authority or other regulatory body doesn't comply, then the minister can effectively step in under clause 24. And the minister may by order approve an application made subject to any terms and conditions, vary, modify, or remove a term, condition, or qualification to which an approval was made subject, and so on. Again, we need transparency with respect to step-in orders. They should be made public, they should be posted on the Narra website, they should be included in semi-annual reports to Parliament, because effectively what this is saying is that the minister can override what all the entities that the law has established to perform certain functions or may have decided are the conditions of approval of a particular project, or the decision whether to approve or refuse. There ought to be transparency in the legislation in relation to these step-in requirements. This is
Anti-Tiny, what's up?
Regime. It's an extraordinary regime. There's no existing regime like it, and therefore there ought to be proper transparency in relation to it. I move to part 4 of the bill. I only have a minute left. Part 4 has this provision where this bill is brought to an end. We don't know when the minister responsible for this legislation will decide that the date of dissolution should arise. But when that decision is made, the authority is automatically dissolved. And when the conception of this as something that relates only to Hurricane Melissa reconstruction, when that was clearly the purpose of this, I could understand why they would have that in there. But given that this has morphed now into a regime for facilitating the expedition of private sector projects, I'm not quite sure why we still have this automatic dissolution arrangement in it. It doesn't really seem to make sense to me. I'd like to hear why they consider that to be appropriate. And there also, I noticed where it says on the day of dissolution, all monies which became payable to the authority shall be paid into the consolidated fund. But if you have pending or incomplete projects and all those resources now go into the consolidated fund, it could significantly delay the execution of those incomplete projects. I think there needs to be some thought put into that.
Wow.
And my last comments are in relation to in the schedule, Madam Speaker, there's no annual performance reviews provision for the CEO. There is no provision in terms of revocation of appointments. There's nothing to do with failure to achieve contracted deliverables or to satisfy key performance indicators. It is not the normal thing you would expect in a contract of employment with a senior executive. The provisions are more what you're accustomed to see in relation to an officer who's holding a public office rather than somebody running an organization as a CEO. And I think that is a peculiar thing. And the last point, Madam Speaker, is just to say these provisions which allow the CEO to sign authorizations under the seal of the authority on his own and to sign contracts and other documents on his own with no oversight, dangerous. This, from a governance perspective, this legislation is an aberration. It needs to be.
Leader of opposition, your mic is off. Leader of opposition, your mic is off.
The lady turn off the man mic. What a disrespectful, dirty Jezebel this lady is. The man had 2 more words to say and the lady cut off his mic. This was going on the entire time. I want to see why Angela Brown Burke did what she did. Because it got worse as time went on. Because Juliet Holness just want to go off her yard. Then just want to pass the bill. Because apparently she might be making some money off this thing here. Because she into construction. Who knows? She not one construction company. Mighty God. We said the man in a mid-sentence and the lady cut off the man mic. How rude. This is the leader of the opposition, you know? How rude and disrespectful. And then I tell the man, say, my mic is off. She's nasty and despicable. Mighty God. No, man, she terrible, man. The lady make me really dislike her, you know? And I've never met her in a day in my life, you know? I genuinely dislike this lady. You know how hard it is for me to dislike you? Anybody will know me. I am the most easygoing person. Do you know how hard it is for you? It has to be on principle for me to dislike you. I try to understand everyone and give them grace. No, she's terrible, man. She's too much, man. She's too much now, man. She's a thorn in the side of democracy, man. My God.
We expected that she would operate above the partisan fray, or we have been very shocked
Senator,
by how she has come to the House.
I said it the other day at a place where we both were, that the PNP need to start doing some politics. We're not doing enough politics, we're doing governments like we in a government. We need to do some politics. Because one of the reasons why Juliet should not be speaker, she takes everything personal and as an attack against her husband.
Yes.
And you can't walk away from that.
Yes.
2 becomes 1. And you can't get away from that.
I've seen, and she has clearly demonstrated that she's unable to separate the office of a speaker from her own partisan agenda.
Yes.
And from the desire to protect her party, her government, and her husband. And to the extent that she's unable to do that, she should demit the office of speaker. I would love if she steps aside, to be very honest, because what she's doing is impairing the public perception about what the office of the speaker should be. And the office of the speaker is a very critical role, as the speaker is the umpire of the parliament's proceedings and must ensure that there's fairness in the conduct of the parliament's business, and that the people's representative, irrespective of the side that they're on, should be given a fair degree of accommodation in the House. And she has failed to do that. And I'm very disappointed, and I think she should step aside.
So, Angela, our chairman, should apologize or has apologized or have accepted some wrongdoing. What are your views on that?
Yeah, I think our chairman was very mature about looking at what I did. Clearly, if you go by the standing orders, was inconsistent with the standing orders.
Right.
She expressed that. She expressed that it doesn't accord with good parliamentary conduct.
Right.
Yes, we can say that. But again, consideration has to be given to context. Context is so very important.
Context matters.
Context matters. And like I said from the outset, I would have been frustrated after around 5 attempts to get the attention of the speaker. And I understand that she did see our member trying to get her attention.
Let me share my disappointment with the senator. Because I am disappointed with my chairman. And I'll tell you why. She should have taken up the mace and run out of the parliament. Shut down the thing, write the history books, make people see it. And then, you see how she done that? I will be here this morning saying, no retreat, no surrender, suspend with. Deal with the suspension. Because there is reason for that kind of protest. And in my research, after I have my research, tells me that taking up the mace is an available protest to parliamentarians.
Yeah.
It's not something despicable. It's not something disgraceful. And if you are really protesting, it is fair game.
Yes.
The concerns of the opposition and the concerns of our chairman are very valid. and they must be addressed. And we will have to continue to find ways to really express our dissatisfaction. And really, a big part of it will come down to public outrage. I would really love if the public watches Parliament more frequently and more intimately, understand what Parliament, and realize that the Speaker's conduct is unacceptable. I would really love for there to be a greater public buy-in with what the opposition is saying regarding the Speaker's conduct, because it has to be addressed. The next general election is not expected until 2030, constitutional due until 2030. We have 4 more years and a bit more to go, and we cannot operate in this climate with the Speaker acting as she, we're heading in a collision course.
All right, so before I let you go, Senator, tell us what we can expect from the senators as it relates to debating this bill in the Parliament, maybe Friday?
Yes. As at now, we expect that the debate will continue next Friday. The government has not issued a notice that will meet us yet, but we anticipate that the debate will continue, given the urgency that the government wants to push this through. So you can anticipate that the senators are doing rigorous assessment of the bill. On Friday, whenever we need to debate, we will continue the very strong demonstration and very strong articulation that was on display by our members of the lower house. We'll continue to reiterate the concerns of the opposition, and we will not relent. So I would encourage the public, I would encourage our comrades to tune in and to watch the Senate and to take into consideration the very serious and valid points that we'll be making. 2 civil society agencies, entities, organizations rather, JET and JFJ have sent us, all senators on both sides, have sent us a supplementary document that they did, further assessing the bill and making additional recommendations. We have gone through that, and we're caucusing this week again to refine our strategy, but we will be a powerful force in the Senate when we're debating the bill.
Senator, thank you for your time this morning. All the best, and we're looking forward to hearing you and
So Jamaica, Cleveland Tomlinson, he was under the weather. So last night, that's why I didn't see him on Andre Stevens' show. But that's what I have gathered, because he was on the bill to go, but he was sick even now. Going through this, you can see that, I don't know if it's flu or something, but he was drinking a lot of water, and you can say he was flustered. They could see it all over his face. If you watch the interview with on Colin Bell Show, make sure you guys go and subscribe to the Colin Bell Show, Portland Spice TV on YouTube, all right? Yes, so shout out to Cleveland Tomlinson. But last night's show, yes, I went through the show last night. I did a 4-hour live this morning early on YouTube. And for the persons on my TikTok, I encourage you to go and subscribe to my YouTube if you want to watch the replay of these wonderful educational live streams that I am doing in regards to the people's business here in Jamaica. All right, we're going now to hopefully Ralston Hyman joining the program, because I have to make sure that I listen to the professor, man.
Hold on.
To the amendment being suggested. That's what I got from her statement. The nays 27 and absent 3.
Mr. Cole, go on.
Next clause.
I wish to put clause 5, 6, and 7 without amendments.
5, 6, and 7 without amendments. Members, the person piloting the bill. That's not a joke,
Yeah, you guys hear the level of confusion in the house? People are trying to get her attention and she ignored them because she just want to pass the bill. And I watched that clip with Mr. Oh my goodness, what's his name? Mr. Kenneth Russell, Dr. Kenneth Russell. And he was the first he's the first I saw that spoke on what happened with Dr. Angela Brown Burke and came in defense of her, because he was one of the persons that was experiencing the same thing. She was being ignored by the speaker, not being able to speak when they had something to say. Jamaica, this has to go to court. There's got to be some legal way to get rid of this woman as the speaker of the house. Has to be. If everybody have to lift up in mace every day, them got Parliament, when she start with her foolishness, lift you up, take you up and go to door with it. Dash it through the window in air down business. You understand what I deal with? Because me not have no reference for no man. Me not have no reference for no authority outside of this country. We should be a sovereign country. Me not have no reference for them. Especially when them are hold on and them are slave master. I have no reverence for the colonizer. To hell with the colonizer. Period. You understand? So this you're gonna defend this mace, but you're not defending the constituents, your constituency members. We get marooned. The road want fixing our constituency as an MP. She everything she does is wrong. She not working well as an MP, that a Juliet Holness. Right? I saw a video. Let me go to somebody sent me a cash up. I believe. No, they didn't send me one. No, nobody sent me. 76ers are Celtics. So somebody's hold on. I saw a video from Atta for the Press. I saw a video from Atta for the Press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go to the video. Mighty God. Where is it? Which video? That one here?
He's got 2 minutes to learn everything you need to know about generative
Who are showing this?
Anyone who tells you differently is lying to you.
A speaker because
don't you
will hit thousands of Jamaicans at home and
that one there, yes.
Corrupt.
That one here.
Scheme here what I'm realizing. Understanding to represent my
Juliet Holness attack a bag of things. Who remember when Juliet Holness come out and I run off her nasty mouth, her dirty mouth, and I talk about how anywhere rubbish heap there, PNP live there. The Jamaican people, who don't want to see how the road look, the road want fix. Me hear say Juliet Holness attack a bag of things. How she not fix no road for PNP because PNP people ungrateful. When can't stay there, bare things are going on, me people. Just watch that video, yeah? When I go get a shot on the life. No, sir.
Wait a minute.
Watch her.
Damn, leave her right there back there. Come again.
From Melissa, this fix not even.
Pause. TikTok, look on the road. This is supposed to be Juliet Holness constituency. Look on the road right there, son. YouTube, look on the road right there, son. I thought 5% alone me play that video. See? Only can go look on it on yourself. It was a day ago. Jesus Christ, Juliet Holness constituency. See title there. See title there. As a matter of fact, let me switch this around. You're supposed to can't see it better now. See the Jamaica. See the Jamaica. You go watch that video for yourself. But that's how I couldn't hear where people myself. You can go see it for yourself. Listen to this. Big up Atta 5 Press. Make sure you go over there, go subscribe. See? You are the queen that you know.
Melissa, this fix not even.
Look.
Nothing, not even little red cones.
Yeah,
that's one of the breakaways.
I feel Juliet party, I said.
Look at the garbage.
Look there.
Crazy.
Big foot Juliet.
Mighty God.
I come back to our house.
Since then, and it's still. Look at that.
No, Jamaica, there is a light post. It look like here, so. Across the road. Jesus of mercy. You can't make this up. Me have a screenshot this. No man, me have a screenshot this and I'm gonna see it. Or a tree or something cut across the road. And from Hurricane Melissa. And you tell me say nobody No, listen me man, yo, I don't want nobody tell me no foolishness about this a government, you know. How can you have the Prime Minister wife constituency in this state? Look at this. Look at this, Jamaica. You see that in the road? You see it? Look there. Cross the road. Look here. This is the road. And look where they cross the road. And the car them have to drive under it. I know one bridge, you know. It's not a bridge. Let's go back to what them are saying at the audio now. I just want to see the thing for yourself. See?
Look at that. Bigfoot Juliet.
Right over to our house.
Look, since then, and it's still look at that. Look at that. Since Melisana. Yep. Still hanging over the road. Dangerous.
Telephone wire. Flow wire, hold it up. Every time the wire the bus, the road block.
It's a flow wire all up the object. I don't know if it's a light post, I don't know if it's a tree, but it's a flow wire all it up Jamaica. Over the road. Imagine a car come at speed and that drop in there and pick the Indian and something. And from 6 months ago in a move. 6 months and 7 months we in a, by the way. We are now in the 7th month. And this not for your constituency and she a speaker of the house. The same one that talk about garbage, Jamaica, I don't want to see garbage. I don't want to see garbage in a Judith Holness constituency. I don't want to see garbage. Cock mouth kill cock. Hey, me say gotta expose them, you know. Mighty God.
We're in a man.
We need to go in.
Good man. So you have a drain right there, so what them are talking about right there. So listen to this.
Black up, watch out.
Oh, 5 years now the drain block.
5 years now the drain block according to the man Jamaica. And Juliet Holness stay in the office from 2016. And the drain block up for 5 years. Yo, I blame money, you know. If people ever vote for Juliet Holness, you know, the one that will take bribe, you know. I blame money, you know. The one that will intimidate other people for vote for Juliet Holness. I blame money, you know. Who know the problem, you know? Who know the problem?
From them, and the people them up here try to fix the road. A ship. Break out. Listen,
watch out. Listen, this a part right here so now. We just want to get a screenshot for you. How dangerous this apartment is. Then soon reach the part of them show it.
Oh!
Look on the right hand side.
Yeah, look on the right hand side.
Look there.
Alright, pause. Go back a little bit. Let me find the right part.
Oh!
Look on the right hand side. You look too much money.
Yeah.
Alright. Make me screenshot this and show them. Jesus have mercy, Father God, take a case. We need you. We need you, Lord. We need you. We need a deliverance from them people. Yeah. Make me just show the walk one to the road. The road turn one big old dirt track, you know. Yeah, man, the road turn sand, man. No road not there. Real breakaway, Jamaica. See it there? Look on it. See it there? The whole of down there is a gully, you know. The whole of down there, so? Down here, so? A gully, you know. Look. Look. Want to see that? That are the road. Alright. Let me see if I can get my next screenshot for now. May I tell you, man, go on Atta 5 press page, man. Trust me. Yo, may I tell you. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Walking on this. Look up, that's not.
The lady say you shouldn't even be walking on this.
The community members, they want to make that road, you know.
The members have to
help from the MP.
Mighty God.
Community have to get together, the residents.
Them bravey.
Community between Portland, Newcastle, and settlement, and to get this sorted out so they can.
So are the residents them do this? Because Juliet Holness never do nothing. Mighty God. I precipitate that, you know? Look how far.
The master not came over there.
Why them brave? Them too brave, yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear that?
I was stoned that on that car.
You can't just fart. Break away. Yeah. And Juliet did nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. He said now fix the road for the people. Labor right there too. And graceful.
So it is alleged that Juliet Holness cussed out the labor right them. And now fix the road. This lady, I'm telling you, man, women like this should never be in leadership. I'm in no business who want vex. Me say women like Juliet Holness should never be. This is why I don't support hiring persons because of their gender. I don't support it. You have to be qualified. I don't business if you're a man or a woman. You have to be qualified. You have to exhibit the leadership traits and characteristics necessary to lead. I don't business if you're a man or a woman. That is irrelevant. I've often said that. And one of the things that has suffered and you can plug in back the fridge, mommy. One of the things that have suffered our country and our institutions is hiring persons because of their gender and not because they are qualified. And I am in total opposition of it. Because this lady should have been assessed, and even if she didn't get the job based off of how she's handling the job, she should be removed, man. Right? Any MP that is trying to spite the people, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you should be removed. There should be something in the Constitution that allows the people, like how you can make a citizen's arrest, even if we did vote for your brother. Right now, we can call what? You can call something like a vote of confidence. Right? You have lost our confidence and remove the individual from office. In the midstream of them in position, they should be removed. Make them know, say, listen man, your job is not secure. You have to perform a performance-based job. It's too important how much lives you affect negatively or positively based on what you do or don't do. You understand? Look on the road them, brother. I'm not even road them here.
That means you don't go with them, man.
No, man.
Two people can't surpass each other.
As me say, I'm going to go watch it to yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to leave it there because I'm going to come back later on tonight. 11 o'clock usual time, ladies and gentlemen. On TikTok and YouTube. I'll be live on Bolo clips as well. I didn't go live today on there. So see you guys later for the Saturday night reaction. I'm sure there's a lot of things in the news and updates that I have not come across. So I'll be doing my research per se for the next few hours, and then I'll be coming back with the conversation later on tonight. I want to thank everyone for their continued support. I want to shout out to all of my members, shout out to all of my moderators, shout out to all of the persons on my fan club, shout out to all of my super fans to come. We are speaking it into existence. I am encouraging persons on TikTok to become a super fan of the platform. I am encouraging persons to become a member of Bolo VNR 2.0. I'm encouraging you guys to exercise the super chat, the membership gifting, and the membership. I'm encouraging you guys to look at the pinned comment in the comment section, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, all of that. So hold on, Saturday there all time and Saturday don't say hello, Bolo. You know why Saturday don't do that? You know why Saturday don't do that? Saturday is multitasking, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday is watching me and Mr. Will Rattigan and 3 other programs at the same time. But you gotta love her. You know what I mean? You gotta love her for that. Big up yourself, Saturday. Appreciate you, darling. See y'all later, man. I'm out. Bye.